Let's see how this goes. This is our first live stream debate, or at least a critique of a debate, not our own. One day, that'd be pretty fucking cool to have our own debate with reason. Coming eventually. Alright, we got the juggernaut Andrew Wilson against Dr. Kurt. The thing is, I am a Andrew Wilson fan, but I am an atheist. So that is that on what's about to go down. So I'm actually technically against him on this. And is it good? Is Christian nationalism good for Western society? We already know how. Well, I know how he debates all this stuff. He just tries to say that when it comes to good, anything good comes from Christianity, and if you're atheist, it's impossible for you to be good and then start a good society, which is just retarded. And it gets kind of bothersome too when you really think that somebody is completely wrong, but they're so smart that they make it seem fucking spot on. Just gonna get really high and try to follow these arguments. If it gets boring, we'll switch out, play a game of chess, switch back in. Let's try to make this fun and a little more. I don't want it to be so set on one thing. I guess then everybody gets bored. Or if I'm losing at chess, we'll switch over here. Keep you distracted from my failures. I'm gonna have to break down some more gotcha. And if any of you guys smoke, light one up for me. See a hit, send a hit. If you're not into that, that's all right. Please don't judge me. He said 5. I mean, if I ever shake the man's hand, I'll say he's a great debater, but he is not prompt. Oh, dang. So we're not live for another hour. Oh, Andrew's using his black ex-wife's watch. Huh? He was married to a black chick? That's cool. Swimming doesn't take away your LOL. Alright, well, like I said, we could play chess in the meantime. Alright, let me pull up chess. Cool. Well, now I'm nervous. Let's say an hour. Okay. Well, we have patience. That means I get to light my J. I was gonna say this after. I'll just come back to him later. If it's an hour, I don't want to sit here and. No, I played it wrong. Fuck. I already put. Damn. Alright, well, already got him stumped. I love this opening. This is mine. I swear. This. Oh, dude, got him. Why would you give up? Oh, that was a okay. Let's calm down and play, because we all know I know how to fuck up a good thing. I sure do. I do. Yes, sir, I do. I do. Hmm. Oh, Dalvin. I'm not thinking. Hmm. I'm still left, so I could trade. Let's start trading. Got him. Yes. 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 Got him. I had to think about that, but yeah, got him. All right. That's a great start, y'all. Great start. Good stuff. All right. I love that opening. Oh, and that was with black. I feel good about this. We're rounding our game ahead. Think. Damn. All right, whatever. We're human. I messed up in the opening. Well, I messed up all around. Okay, I messed up all around. Why did I do that? That was dumb. Oh, I'm glad he gave me a way out. Yeah, that was kind of stupid though. Am I gonna get away with this? No, I'm not. Damn, fuck, I'm fucking up. All right, all in right here. All in right here. Let's get it. Oh gosh. Okay. Okay. There we go. Back from the mud. Up the mud. I'll take that. I gotta remember that move. Okay. We're getting a lot of material now. I remember. Mm. Oh, I didn't even, I didn't even realize that the queen was in danger. I'll trade that, dude. Who cares? I'm going on time. This is easy. No, it's not. I can't say shit like that, or else I lose. See, yeah, I'm already losing. Fuck, I'm already losing again. Which one? Where do I go from there? Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna win. I don't know. Oh, stop saying. But oh, you must be distressed. Oh, she. Is that scary? Oh, oh, no. Okay. Well, I really got to get to the debate now. Fascist government.
Does everyone in the state have to believe in the fascist government? You mean believe it exists or follow its orders or what?
For
Oh, it's still in an hour. Oh, I wonder what. Oh, hmm. It says it's still in an. Okay. I guess they weren't kidding. How long have we been streaming? Oh, it's only 30 minutes. Okay. Well, back to the. Interesting. Uh, hmm. Man, I wasn't thinking. Damn. Well, hopefully, we'll see what he does. Damn. I got. Well, I think I make moves a little bit too soon. Don't do that. Oh, rook for rook. Okay. Or bishop, whichever one. Mm. Uh, what is that about? Mm. Hmm. What's there to think about? Interesting. Night for night. Hmm. Hmm. Mm. How about that? Gotcha. I didn't even see that until that. That wasn't planned. But I know he's mad. I'd be mad. Yep. There we go. Solid win. All right. I knew it. Hmm. Oh no, you guys didn't see that. Oh, that's embarrassing. Oh no, I'm playing chess. I just won. That's embarrassing. Oh, if you're on here, the debate got delayed an hour, so that's why I'm playing chess. We've been on for 30 minutes, so in another 30 minutes, the debate will be on. So don't think I'm lying to people or clickbaiting. So we're waiting for the debate. We're waiting for the debate. It's supposed to be on in 30 minutes. I'm playing chess in the meantime. I just want to really. He just resigned, but I forgot to connect the screen. So we're playing chess. Mhm. Mm. For a pawn? Mm. Oh, I'll take that. Mm. He's still up. Mm. Mm. Oh, this is not good. Oh, sneaky. Good on you. Good on you. Oh, that's not me. Uh-huh. Wait, what? Oh. Mm. What do I do? Okay, that was embarrassing. All right. Okay. Shake it off. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, that was a trash performance. And there's. Nah. All right. Let's get it. Mm. Mm. Please give me your queen. Oh, you didn't even do that. Oh, oh no. Never mind. Here's what it plays. So, yeah. Oh no, it's just for the knight. I thought it was for the queen. Well, his knight can take it. Yeah. Oh gosh darn it. Mm. All right. Shoot and miss on that one. Her. Way off. Mm. No, you have that shootout. We'd win. 900. Oh, ball. Put. No, Dalvin. That's so annoying. I had the bishop right there. Oh, so annoying. Okay. Oh, now I'm just okay. I'm a little riled up. Damn though. Oh, I would have been. I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna try to save. It's not even a good try. Damn. Oh, it's so disappointing. Can't get over that though. The show. It's blinding me. No, but I'm slipping. Mhm. Oh, dang! I lost again. Fuck. It's big. Just, ay, 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 ay. What? Like, is he messing with me or something? I don't know. I'm razzled. Oh gosh, embarrassing. So you're not supposed to do that. Hey, wait. I just got. I'm hella dumb. I didn't even see that. My queen could have fucked him up. Damn. Well, I'm not actually used to being in this predicament either. I'm not a zoo dancing all over the place. Alright, go back in that corner. Fuck, I could have. Dude, that's another. Okay, I could have got the queen last game, and I think I lost. Or no, that was. Never mind. I don't even want to talk about last game. Last game. That was wild. Scholar, mate. I got. It's been a long day. That was embarrassing as fuck. Damn, he was probably laughing at me too. For sure laughing at me. Mm. Mhm. Mm. Uh, I gotta make some more faster. Mm. Okay, dokie. Okay, dokie. Move the bishop. No! Put the. Mm. The pin. This is the way. Mm. 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 Oh no, what am I thinking? That was just a weird stalemate. I don't. Why did it. Okay. What's going on here? Oh, okay. Whatever. Whoa, that was weird. Were you yelling? Holy shit. That was weird. One of the luckiest things that ever happened to me. That was wild. I don't want to lose my time with that type of luck. Come on, give me the W after that. It's crazy. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I'm just moving. I'm just moving. I got 9 seconds. Come on, please. Yes. Yes. Victory. I didn't know how dark it was. I was about. Oh man, it was hella dark. Another little embarrassing. All right, back to chess. Finally got a dub. Oh my gosh, we almost. If I would have lost, I would have been below 300. I gotta stop fooling around. Right there. Mm, that's fair. That's fair. All right. Oh, I was about to make a very rash decision. I didn't even like my other joint yet. Fuck, I'm not thinking straight. I could not be that high. Well, actually, I could be. It's a diamond. Diamond infused. Loaded bowl. Scheiße. Stop thinking. Oh my. Oh, okay. Okay. Haha, see? I'm okay. See, last time I missed this opportunity, but now got him. Okay. Now we're up. Oh, see? Oh, that's an adrenaline rush. But now I gotta stay calm or else I always mess it up. Stay calm though. Like, keep applying pressure. And then we just take. We just trade if we yeah, we trade everything if we have to now. Oh, see? He'll take that. Take, yeah. Oh, smooth sailing. I just can't fuck this up. I can't this up. Yeah. Okay, the rook, that's it. That's our only problem. Problem. How did I get double pawned? Oh, random. But yeah, I'll do that. And then we run. No, I actually respect that. Went out the queen. Uh, okay, which way we going? We're going this way. Ah, oh, I'm stupid. I'm really dumb. Fuck, how do I do this? I'm gonna lose this because I don't know end game and I can't fucking get him with. I'm so dumb. Oh my god, and I hate myself sometimes. This is so annoying. I'm disappointed. Disappointed. I'm a fucking person. Oh, draw. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it. I even got a wow. Cool. Oh, that's ridiculous. I don't deserve anything, but I'll take it. Wow. Oh, that was wild. Dude, I was up to I'm so fucking trash. I'm so trash. Oh yeah, Andrew's waiting. Okay, yeah, I'll hop over. Thank you. I do appreciate that. We'll head over now. I'm gonna turn my lamp on. Cool. Yeah, we're coming. We're coming. Cool. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. See, that's community right there. Okay. Oh no.
Cat cam.
Cool.
I'm just waiting for the cat's seat. That way, when the cat comes in here, he can chill next to me. And if that fucking thing gets up, I got the shock collar, and I'm just gonna fucking zap him. Just cat's gonna be like, "Yeah!" And I'm be like, "Yeah, fucker, take that."
I wonder
You
what the
stay in
hour
that fucking
I
seat
don't know if you
so
said
that
it
I
yet.
can entertain my audience by flipping over to the cat cam. You fuck,
Just
just
won this
fucking
debate
blasting
already?
him the whole. Just
Or
hit
is
him
he
with the
waiting on
button. Watch his little ass. Yeah, that's right, you little fuck. Good enough for the communist. It's good enough for me. Okay. It's good enough for the commies. It's good enough for me. That's right. He steps. Well, it's going to be like, you ever see that movie Cat's Eye? Remember that movie Cat's Eye where they had a shock treatment on the ground or something for the cat? That's what it's gonna.
Okay.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put like a little shocker thing on the ground, so when it hits the ground, I'm just gonna fucking hit it. And the thing's just gonna have to jump right back up in
Is
its
he
seat,
waiting
and
on him, or
that's
did
it.
the guy already like give up?
That's how it's gonna be. That's right, Hassan Wilson,
Should be interesting.
100%.
Okay. I was about
The
to say.
Hassan button, exactly.
This is actually
Yeah,
my
Comrade
first
Kitty,
one doing it
exactly.
like
Just
this.
fucking
Yeah.
blast him, dude.
Oh, put in
That's
the
it,
comments what side you're on, because it's weird. I'm an Andrew Wilson
little
fan,
fucker.
and
All
I
right, let's
don't
jump into
judge
this
me for
room.
this,
This
but
debate should be starting here
I
pretty
am an
quick.
atheist, so I this is gonna be interesting. I'd be in opposition. He'd call me an op. Oh, he just logged on. That's cool. Yeah, apparently I would be technically an op.
Hey, Andrew.
Hello.
Come on, girl.
Hello.
You might want to double check your mic is connected on
Dude's
the
in
bottom.
here.
There's a down arrow next to the mic. Just double check your mic that's connected.
Is it good now?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
All right.
All right. So, are y'all both good to go here? Y'all need to do any other setting things before we get started?
I'm waiting on coffee, which is going to take 2 minutes. So we're going to have to
Cool.
launch this thing.
Yep.
After I get a nice cup of coffee in my hand.
Yeah, open mind. Yeah, this is what it's all about.
I'm
Open
live, and I'm
mindedness.
playing two amazing songs to get us started. I got a mega bloodbath intro song, and then we got the Get on the Mic song. It'll get you pumped up, get the blood flowing, get y'all both excited.
Oh, he spelled his name wrong.
So let me go ahead and get this launched here, and then we'll go ahead and
it
get
looks
into
like
this.
he spelled. Oh, he spells it with a
sounds
C,
good.
I think.
And thank you again for being here. Pleasure to see you as well.
That? Just started playing chess. I feel you, dog. It's a great game for life and pretty much everything. Oh, that's life. But okay, pretty much everything. It's an awesome game. Yeah, that's yeah. I don't want to be like that one niche kind of guy, and like I don't want this to be just about one thing and one thing
No,
only.
what is
So,
this
chess
shit?
and debating,
Oh,
finance,
man.
yeah, a bunch of stuff. Fun and frustrating. Yes. Oh, dude, I was
Here, let's try this instead.
no, before we switched over
You guys
to
hear this?
watching Andrew, I got
Can you hear
scholar
that?
mated. It was in like I got beaten like checkmated in like 3 moves. I was like, and I didn't see it coming. It was like getting punched in the face. I was like, oh sorry, like I just hit my dog. Yeah, it's like getting punched in the face. Yeah. So I feel you, but then you just keep playing, and then you watch other like grandmasters and really uh, smart people. Openings are important. I used to think the openings are really stupid, but
Oh, damn
and
it.
then you just realize
Oh,
what they're
this
trying
sucks
to
so
do.
bad,
A
Oh,
loser like me trying to explain it, but yeah, I'm glad you're playing. Stick to it. Don't feel like because you lose a lot, like don't give up or anything. Trust me. Yeah, it's still fun. And what else are you gonna do? Play checkers or something?
It's not about charity. It's not about giving back. It's not about loving others. It's not about loving
it's pure
yourself.
torture.
It's not
Learn
about
how to play chess. I YouTube just like anything. I think YouTube is one of the greatest resources on the planet. I just
the
YouTube
worst
it,
shit ever.
and then you find, you find a guy or a person, he or she that plays a certain style.
All right,
and
I
they
can
show
see he
you
wins.
all the openings.
I'm just
and
going
all
to
that.
concede the debate. He wins
Just YouTube it.
immediately. He wins.
And then you learn openings. Yeah, YouTube like the top 10 openings.
I can't take it. I can't do
And
it.
it gives you kind of.
Sorry, that's it for me.
You don't even
I
know
gotta
how
go.
to use them, but if you could recognize them,
I have to go.
you'll
I
at
can't
least
do
be
it.
on to like, these guys trying to get over on you. And be like, oh, I seen that in the video. Okay, what is? Oh, he's trying
This
to.
is pure suffering.
And then you see it enough times. Yeah.
In this mega bloodbath debate, who is the master debate of all the master
'Cause, yeah, I
debaters?
just,
In this mega bloodbath
Man,
debate, who is the master?
It is so fucking bad. This is the most cringy fucking shit I've ever heard in my life.
So I
It's
could,
fucking terrible.
We'll play chess after everybody's still hanging around.
It's still
Well,
going.
now that you know,
It's
about
still
it, come
going.
back. I stream a lot. I go live a lot for chess, chess runs and all that. We could lose together and we could win together. We'll get that elo. It's all about just getting that elo up every day.
Over.
All right.
Mega
I'm going
bloodbath where
to
bad
ignite
ideas go to
the
die.
joint. I believe it's coming to that
You
time.
want the mic? Don't beg, Bill. Get in a line, get it claim, get it spine, get ready. Talk too messy, get muted, act wild, get Kenny. Bring up proof, keep it tight, don't ramble all night. If it's 1v1, bloodbath engage. Step in
still
for
waiting
light,
for
state your
homeboy?
topic, no haze. One
He was in here and then he
show
hopped
me
out. What
your
happened?
chain. Define your
Did
terms,
anybody
don't
catch
hide it,
that? We were
mystery
talking chess.
God. If you mean something, say it, don't
I
talk
geeked
enough.
out a little bit.
Premise, conclusion, clean line. If it doesn't follow, it don't fly. Rewrite. Don't filibuster, don't posture, don't whine. Answer the
Hey,
question.
me and
the first
Andrew were
time,
lighting
on
up at the
time.
same
Little
time.
German done,
I did
little
not
books
plan
and
that, I
book. If it's
swear.
self-evident, demonstrated that it be
That was just
understood.
like-
You can disagree, that's fine, just keep it in frame. Argue the point, not the
I did
person,
not
not
plan.
the tone, not the name. Clock on the wall, mic in your face.
That
Either you're
looks
clear or
cool,
you're
though.
taking up space.
Obviously, we're smoking on
Stay on
something
top and keep it
different.
controlled. Oh, watch the room turn ice
Smoking on
cold.
something different. He smoked on this, he'd lose the debate.
Get in the line, get it clean, get it spine, get ready. Talk too messy, get muted, act wild, get Kenny. Bring the proof, keep it tight, don't rebel all night. If it's 1v1, bloodbath, no way. Get in the line, get it clean, get it spine, get ready. Talk too messy, get muted, act wild, get Kenny. Bring the proof, keep it tight, don't rebel all night. If it's 1v1, bloodbath, engage. Panels of jungle, I'm driving the bus. Mute buttons ring when the chaos is sus. Crosstalk spiral, I clip that sound. Then I'll bring you back when you settle down. Start throwing fits, start disrespecting the room. You might get kicked with a soft little boom. But if you're sharp and you want that test, I'll drop you in a bloodbath, see who's best. Two talkers barking cool, light them up, one claim standing cool. Time it up, you get the mic when you bring a case.
Kurt,
not when you
come
fall
on,
for
Kurt with a
frame
C.
tight, frame tight.
I think that's fun. Did he leave because he spelled? Oh, I guarantee you. Okay, how much you want to bet? He left because he saw that he spelled his name with a K.
Answer back and track it. If you pivot, I flag it, snap it, keep it clean, keep it
That was
keen.
actually the first thing that I saw.
It's still going.
Before, like, Chris demeanor. Like,
it's still going.
Come back, shop, no rage quit.
Oh, we still like the stream. Do we like it? Oh, wait, how do you like it?
Still going.
Gotta show this up.
I'm not okay. No, not okay.
Dude, there's gonna be a day where I'm on here, I swear. Or maybe like an hour.
No. I'm not muting it. If I gotta suffer, you gotta suffer. If I suffer, you suffer.
I can't hear him. I have to know that if I turn it up on
my brothers and sisters in atheism, to another mega bloodbath debate. I am so excited for this debate.
Okay.
Tonight,
what's happening?
We have two amazing guests, Dr. Kurt, MD, and Andrew Wilson, over the topic, is Christian nationalism good for America? Andrew will be taking the affirmative tonight, and Kurt will be taking the negative. The format will be 8-minute openings and closing with an hour open discussion and up to an additional hour depending on audience engagement. Every $3 in super chats or taco memberships tonight adds 1 minute to the debate, up to an additional 60 minutes. We are shooting for 150 likes tonight, so I'm wearing 150 pieces of clothing because it has been super cold, and I'll be removing one for each like we get tonight. Super chat questions related to the topic will be read and responded to during the debate. Off-topic super chat questions and all comments will be read after the open discussion portion. I reserve the right to not read any super chats that may appear to violate YouTube TOS or exceptionally inflammatory to the debaters. I appreciate you both for joining us today. Andrew, you want to tell the audience a little bit about yourself before we get into this, and we'll do the same with Dr. Kurt after?
My name is Andrew Wilson. I am the host of the Good Bowl. I hate your terrible AI tunes. They were awful. They were literal ear cancer, terrible in every conceivable way, and you deserve to, give my audience an apology for those breakfast tacos. They were just awful.
I'm sorry, Andrew and Andrew's audience. I worked very hard on that first one. I thought you guys would enjoy that, so I apologize. But I love that first one so much you have no idea. So very disappointed, but it's okay.
I'm disappointed in you, bro. Like I thought it would be better than that breakfast. I'm kidding. I'm joking. Obviously, good-natured, back and forth. The good doctor over here. You're gonna have to, I don't know, find your sense of humor tonight. Relax. Yeah, there you go. See, I knew you had it in you. But anyway, that's who I am. I appreciate the intro.
Doctor's about it. He's like,
Kurt,
I'm not here.
You want to tell
that.
us a little bit about yourself as well?
I'm not
please?
here for smiles.
Yeah, sure. My name is Kurt. I'm a regular on Taco's channel. In my day-to-day job, I'm a physician, but I have a special interest in Christian history because of my upbringing, and I'm fascinated by the topic. So it's nice to talk to you, Andrew.
Nice to talk to you too.
Cool. So if y'all are ready, we'll go ahead and move into the introductions here. As I mentioned, there'll be 8 minutes. Andrew's taking the affirmative here. So whenever you're ready, let me know, and I'll start your 8-minute timer. I do recommend taking notes during each other's introductions. It does help during the open discussion. I'm sure y'all both do. But anyways, let me know when you're ready, and I'll start your 8-minute timer.
Sure. So when speaking about Christian nationalism, it's important that we be very clear on what it is we're advocating for and why. Nations generally fit into 3 categories for nationalism: civic nationalism, cultural nationalism, or ethno-nationalism. Civic nationalism depends on idealism being the core of a nation's group. That group identity is ascertained by having some sort of shared idealism on law and systems. Cultural nationalism depends on the core of the culture of a nation being compatible with that nation's laws. It broadly ignores matters of race and law, opting instead to form cohesion around shared cultural values as the glue that holds the society together. Ethno-nationalism falls under the category of race being the glue itself for holding together a nation. That race is necessary and needs to remain a binary where the nation itself doesn't have the necessary glue to hold itself together. Now, these are oversimplifications for the purpose of time in this debate, but the reasons I outlined them was to point out that Christian nationalism falls pretty broadly under category 2. The United States, depending on its time in history, has been all three of these, by the way. It's fallen under all three of these types of nationalism. And has, I would say, since post-World War II and the post-war consensus, been a mix of cultural and ethno-nationalism. Now, Christian nationalism is the idea of Christians maintaining a cultural dominance on ideas, laws, and ideals. My opponent will argue that this isn't very American or not compatible with the American system of government, but it very much is and always has been. The system of American governance is dominated by dogma. It has judges. It requires oaths to be sworn, lawgivers, lawmakers. The Constitution is built on all sorts of esoteric beliefs, which assume all sorts of things, like rights, for instance, which are intangible constructs of the mind. They require belief to have any pragmatic function. The same goes for Christian nationalism. In order for it to work, people would have to believe in the concept of Christian ethics and believe that they would work as a guiding framework for the governing of the conscience of those placed in charge of the affairs of the state and the people in their care. All my opponent's likely criticisms will be based around the same criticisms he's at the mercy of when pointing out a thing he doesn't like about it. Which ideology should we use? Well, which ideology should Americans use now? Christian nationalism may limit democracy. Sure, but inside democracy, that's a risk you run that people will use the process to end the process. Should Christians govern? My answer is yes. Why? For the same reason my opponent would prefer they not govern. He has a set of beliefs and would prefer that the set of beliefs that he prefers are the ones which dominate society. Well, so do I. It will become quickly obvious in this debate that it will reduce to outcomes. In fact, that's kind of what the crux of the debate is. It always does. So which society builds the best outcomes? Well, that's a more difficult question. Better for who? For me or for my opponent? What about for the people who aren't us, though? Well, again, what I would consider better, he may not agree with, and vice versa. So the divide really becomes about the preferences we both have for the societies which we want to build and see flourish. My case for Christian nationalism is simple enough. The guardrails put on by the nation at its birth have been weakened over many generations in the expansion of universal suffrage, a thing our founders were concerned about, and it has become a deadlocked two-party, two-ideology system, which is totally divided due to massive cultural divides. No glue, as it were, anymore to hold this thing together. Christian nationalism proposes from the top down our government spread positive messaging for culture. Two-parent households being a good thing, sex work being abolished, limiting homosexual glorification, marriage being a commitment that needs to be taken seriously, schools being a function of learning instead of daycare, like a good thing. Resurgence of patriotism, limiting empire for domestic affairs, a focus on the family and nation, focusing on stopping mass migration, increasing our domestic birth rates, just to name a few things in the agenda. The guardrails have come off of the American experiment and it's become volatile and explosive. You don't have to look any further than our streets right now to see that. Christian nationalism seeks to correct the sinking ship with a way to have a tangible and focused approach to moral underpinnings for the nation to focus on for the health and welfare of everybody. And with that, I'll yield my remaining time to my opposition.
Thank you for the introduction. Kurt, let me know
if you
when
heard
you're
all
ready,
of that.
and I'll
let me know if
your
you can
8
hear
minutes.
it, or if I have to turn it up.
Yeah, I think I'm ready to go.
Or anything, or if it's good, or if I'm
got
too
8
loud,
minutes.
or let me know. But
I want to thank everybody for being here tonight,
and
and especially want to thank Andrew Wilson for taking the time to debate this important question. And of course, thanks to the Mega Bloodbath channel and Breakfast Tacos for hosting. It's an important topic, and it's one that history has shown is very important to be correct. I want to begin with a discussion of a legal fact about the United States. In 1838, the governor of Missouri, Lilburn Boggs, issued what is now known as the Missouri Executive Order 44, which is an order that declared that members of a specific religious group, the Latter-day Saints, must be exterminated or driven from the state. Now, this happened after the revolution. This didn't happen in medieval Europe or sometime in the Byzantine Empire. It was in the United States of America. And the uncomfortable truth of that fact is that in 1838, that order was legally intelligible, and yet today it is not intelligible. And the question we're really debating is, why not? And the reason is because of the traditions that America inherited. The American commitment to religious pluralism didn't fall from the sky, and it didn't come from secular hostility to Christianity. It emerged from hard-learned lessons about what happens when you try to fuse religious truth and state power. The lessons actually begun for our founding fathers with the English Civil War, a war in which Christians slaughtered other Christians, all of whom claimed a biblical warrant and thought that God was on their side. They continued to see this happen when the Dutch Republic had a war with the Spanish Empire, which exhausted the Spanish Empire because the Dutch Republic had discovered something radical, that pluralism could produce stability, commerce, and peace, where enforced orthodoxy only produced bloody wars. And across the Atlantic, a figure like Roger Williams, who had spent time in Holland and was a deeply Christian man and one of the founders of the American Baptist Church, looked at Europe and concluded that with the state, when it enforces a faith, it doesn't protect the Christianity, it corrupts it. So in 1644, he published a book called The Bloody Tenet of Persecution. He argued that coercion produces false faith and that the sword has no authority over the conscience. He wasn't a liberal, he was a secularist. Excuse me, he wasn't a secularist. He was branded a heretic by all the religious groups, and yet the colony that he founded, Rhode Island, was the first place in the modern world where people of all faiths could live under a single government without any religious tests or establishment. He allowed atheists, Jews, Muslims, Christians, and any other members of any other faith to live in Rhode Island. And what had been called chaos in Europe became the order of a functioning American colony. The American founding fathers were heirs to all of this. They had read the histories, they knew what happened when religion and state power fused, and they made a deliberate choice. They did not attempt to solve religious disagreement by enforcing theological truth. They solved it by removing religion from the jurisdiction of federal power. That's why the Constitution forbids religious tests. That's why Congress is denied the authority to establish its state religion. And that's why religious pluralism is not an accident of the system, it's the design of the system. People like Thomas Paine made this very explicit. A just government must be just as fair to a Muslim as it would to a Baptist, not because the religions are all the same, but because the state has no authority to decide whose conscience counts more. And so going back to Missouri, why is that idea unthinkable today? It's not because America became less religious. America remains one of the most religious countries on earth. And it's not because Christianity declined. Christianity in the late 19th century was broadly popular and many churches were successful. But it's because after the Civil War, the constitutional settlement extended the religious liberty that the federal government had against the states, not just against the Congress. The Reconstruction Amendments completed the American experiment by making freedom of conscience a right no state could violate, no matter how popular, no matter how religiously justified. Christian nationalism would unwind that settlement. It would take us back to a world where Lilburn Boggs could once again order the extermination of a religious group or any other state minority. When the state decides which faith belongs and which must be suppressed. Before I close, I want to clarify a critical distinction because much of the confusion in this debate comes from collapsing two very different things into one label. Christian nationalism is a political ideology, and it's not an American founding idea. It emerged in 20th century Europe, especially in the 20s and 30s, as a response to mass democracy and secularization. And in that model, the state declares itself Christian, treats religious identity as a condition of belonging, and uses coercive power to enforce moral and spiritual conformity. That is very different from what's existed in the United States. From the beginning, America assumed that Christians would be citizens. They'd vote, argue morally in public, shape culture, pass laws consistent with their convictions, and hold the vast majority of the offices. The United States has been run and is currently run by Christians to the first approximation. But that is not Christian nationalism. That is Christian participation in a religiously plural constitutionalist system. The difference is not whether Christians act politically. The difference is whether the state claims authority over religious identity. Americans rejected that authority by design, but several people have misinterpreted that history, specifically out of a desire to enforce Protestant Christianity on the nation. The biggest thinkers in this are Cornelius Van Til, to who we also have thanked for presuppositionalist apologetics, and the guy named R.J. Rushdoony. They read the history backwards. They romanticize some pre-modern Christian societies as morally unified and then interpret religious pluralism as decay. But this pluralism didn't emerge because people became less Christian. It emerged because Christians learned through bloodshed what happens when the state enforces the religious faith. Christian nationalism is a modern European ideology. Christian citizenship in a pluralist republic is an American tradition. The claim I'm making tonight is very simple. Christian nationalism is not just bad for non-Christians. It is bad for Christians. It replaces persuasion with coercion, conscience with compliance, and faith with force. The American system did not reject Christianity as the religion of its people. It rejected the idea that Christianity needs the state. That is the tradition America stands in. That's the settlement that Christian nationalism would abandon. And that's what's at stake in this debate. The question is not whether Christianity is true. The question is whether the truth or falsehood of Christianity needs power to exile, imprison, or exterminate in order to make its case.
I don't get that.
Thank you,
That's
Kurt.
all I have.
Thank
It's
you.
not. So he's.
And once
it's
again,
not
I
about
greatly
if it's
appreciate
true or
both
not.
of y'all and everybody and all the audience members being
But
here. Thank you,
does it
everybody,
need
for joining us
power
for this debate. We have
order
58 likes currently,
to
so
prove
I'm
that
going to be
it's
removing
true?
58 pieces of clothing here shortly.
I didn't get that.
What's that? 90 more to, or 92 more to go, if I'm doing math right, something like that. Anyways, let's get rocking and rolling here. Mega Bloodbath engaged. Do you have an hour?
All right, so
This
Andrew,
is open discussion.
I enjoyed your opening. I'm going to question a couple of things here first. When you're separating the three types of Christian nationalism, the civic, the cultural, and the ethnic.
No, just three types of nationalism, not Christian nationalism. And then I'm giving you the scale for which Christian nationalism would fall, which would be closest to cultural nationalism.
Okay, so what kind of nationalism would you think some country like Switzerland would have?
Civic.
Okay, and you wouldn't say that they have cultural nationalism at all?
No, there's always going to be overlap between these ideologies. There's no exact way to note when the threshold has been breached, but we do know when it has been breached. When it's the case that when it's the case that the ideals seem to revolve more around the culture than it does around the idealism of ideology, that's when we tend to know that it's cultural nationalism which is being practiced.
The idealism
Okay, so
of ideology.
Can you give me an example of a country that you would see as primarily civic nationalist besides Switzerland that doesn't have?
Well, I can kind of give you all the stages actually. So
Sure.
If you wanted to see a country which is a civic nationalist nation now, you would look at the United States. We broadly practice civic nationalism. The idea of post-war consensus being the kind of civic nationalist glue in which new American ideology came from. And the idea for that civic nationalism is new American idealism rather than any sort of cultural information. That's what it would fall broadly under. Now, if you wanted to look back at our founding, that would have been a mix of both civic and ethno-nationalism. The ideas still were there that white men were superior to all others, that they were going to have more rights, and that women were essentially not classed in the same category, nor were non-whites classed in the same category. That would broadly be considered ethno-nationalism.
Wouldn't you say that
Or
we're
if
like
you want to look at a
cultural,
modern state, you can look at
super
Israel.
cultural,
I would
as
say
opposed
that
to
that's
civic?
mostly an ethno-nationalist state, though you could argue that that's ethno-religious. I wouldn't say that you're wrong, but I would look to that and say that it's an ethno-nationalist state. So it's a state for Jews, by Jews, ethnic Jews. So, and if you wanted to look at ethnic national, or cultural nationalism,
I think we would
the
be
idea
cultural.
that culture is doing the informing of the citizenry,
We're
right
for
around
sure cultural.
pre-Civil Wars, when you start to see that, and the cultural cohesion degrade between the North and the South. And that may have led to the prime cause of that war, depending on which historian you talk to.
So what I'm trying to get at is there, it seems like you have a pretty sharp test in your mind of when a country moves from one position to another. So like you would agree, I think, and I would certainly think that the UK under, say, the Charles I at the time of the English Civil War was both cultural and an ethno-nationalist state.
Well,
right?
if you know, monarchies don't operate the same way that nations operate. But when we're talking about these forms of nationalism, the three forms of nationalism, we're broadly going to be talking about republics or democracies at the birth of nations, which is a newer concept. Monarchies follow different conceptualizations of, they don't have nations in the same way. The king is the nation. The king is the full authority. The king is kind of everything, right? It's God, king, country. Nationalism would be God, country, right? There's no king. So that would be kind of a delineation that I would make there.
Yeah, sure. But kings always have to establish their legitimacy or they're overthrown. So
that's true, but that's the case with any leadership. Presidents have to establish their legitimacy or they would be overthrown too. Any leader would have to establish its legitimacy.
So there's a layer between God and king where there's a time when a new dynasty takes over. Let's say Henry VII or somebody like that takes over a country and their legitimacy is a question. And so the question is, how do they establish that legitimacy?
Yeah, well, this is going to be broadly through the faith of people. That's how the legitimacy is garnered.
By faith, you mean religious faith or personal
just
faith
belief,
in the leader himself?
Belief, yeah, just co-opt of personal belief from X amount of people that there's a recognition of this office or station as being legitimate with the person who's in it.
Okay, so in that case, then, when the country goes from being a monarchy to being a republic or being a democracy, then you start to see these sorts of nationalisms form. So in England, after the Glorious Revolution, then you would say, because you now have a parliamentary system, then you start to see a kind of nationalism that's different from what existed under the strict monarchy, or does that monarchy structure persist through Victoria?
Well, there's still structures of monarchy which exist within any executive branch inside of democracies. We never fully got rid of that. But as far as how those transitions go, it's different for each nation. Each nation transitions differently to democracy, especially in the West. And it's the same thing with the secular wall. That has been established differently depending on the nation that we look at. Very hard to give hard line specifics because history, as you know, is extraordinarily complex, and it's not really a one-size-fits-all.
Yeah, I know. But so what I'm trying to get at here, and this is on point, even though it seems weird, our country comes from England, right? So I'm trying to establish that since we come from England,
well, it comes from a rejection.
There would have been,
it comes from a rejection of England, I would say.
Correct, exactly.
Yeah,
so
the ideal was that Puritans who came here in the 1600s, right? They wanted to essentially establish a much more rigorous version of the church outside of Anglicanism and outside of Catholicism. So it was actually a rejection of England. And it was a rejection even of the monarchs. And so I mean, that was kind of the foundational principles, I would say.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to get at. So was England ever a Christian nationalist? That's what I want to know.
By how I'm determining it today, no.
So England was never a Christian nationalist state.
Not by how I'm defining Christian nationalism today.
Okay.
No, but the thing is like, I'm not sure that how you would define a republic today, that England was ever that either. So like, this is what I mean is that we're using kind of modernist. I think it's much more broadly not actually. I think it's much more broadly moving into universal suffrage and not necessarily a republic anymore.
So was the UK ever a republic?
I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. Maybe.
Okay. Is it a democracy now? Or
yeah, I would say it's a democracy. Yes.
Okay. And when did it switch from being a monarchy to a democracy?
I don't remember the exact year date.
So sometime after Victoria, or sometime after George III?
I don't remember the exact year date. Okay. What relevancy does this have to what we're discussing?
Well, he's kind of rattling off a lot of stuff.
Is it just like Andrew needs to pick out historic facts and remember dates, or
no, not at all. What I'm trying to establish is, was there a Christian nationalism that the founders would have been aware of?
Yes.
Okay, and what would that have been?
That would have been the
model.
Well, no, that would have been the states. So
why don't you just say
what happened with us was we had the Articles of Confederation first, and secularists forget about that often. I'm sure you're a historian, so you didn't. The Articles of Confederation were broadly a failure.
It was a moderator.
The actual compromise of the 10th Amendment.
I don't know if it's actually his face, but
giving prospectively to the states all rights that the federal government didn't have was actually a compromise on religion more than it was anything else, so that each state could have an independent religion. And they did govern.
I guess he doesn't show his face
based on those independent religions.
I don't think this is going to get wild.
And that model persisted for a long time, in fact. And so the thing is, it's like, hang on. So yeah, that would have been broadly Christian nationalism or something akin to it. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, and every single one of those states had abandoned their state religion by the start of the Civil War.
Well, they had a lot of political pressure to do so. A lot of federal.
So where was that political pressure coming from?
Well, it started with Jefferson. Jefferson began to do a tour around the
United
States.
Is that who this is?
Putting political pressure to begin the abandonment of that because he didn't like it. He wanted more power to the federal government. Most of the early founders did because they were spooked by the Articles of Confederation. We almost lost it all, right? The United States almost lost everything. If we hadn't federalized, we would have lost everything. So it started early on, and the idea was basically the federal government has been trying to transfer power away from the states essentially ever since the founding, which is what prospectively the states were concerned about initially, which is why the 10th Amendment compromise was there to begin with, right?
Sure. And absolutely that your interpretation of the 10th Amendment prior to the Civil War is absolutely correct. And the question is, do you see the 14th Amendment as taking away some of those possible governance strategies from the states?
Yeah, well, you're allowed to amend the Constitution. And yes, I do think that, well, I think that I can point to many amendments, I think that weakened states' rights and many courts, which weaken state rights. But when we get down to this, what we're actually arguing here, if we want to kind of jump to and get to the heart of this, I don't think that we're too off with each other on our historic interpretation. The idea here, though, is that we have moved from a representative republic, which we had at our founding, into something which is much more akin to universal suffrage and universal democracy. Much further away from republican ideals, which was set up for checks and balances specifically, and those checks and balances worked because we didn't have these independent voting blocks, which could then exert so much power against the federal government. And so that's what's hang on. I'm almost done. That's what's happened now. Cool. And so the question that I have now is like, if it's the case that you want to move to a universal democracy and you want universal suffrage, which it seems like you're advocating for that, then what the hell is wrong with people having universal suffrage to end universal suffrage? That's part of the American experience, right? Is to amend the Constitution.
I'm not advocating for
what do you see? Do you see others? Do you see other people's comments
beyond just the basic rules that we have built in the United States over the last quarter millennium?
Yeah, but I mean, that's a lot. That is universal suffrage. Like, there's only a few people barred from voting. You have to be a felon or underage, and basically that's it. Everybody else can participate.
So that's not like something new. That's just the way things.
It is something new. It's something brand new. It's in accordance with American history. That is a new experience. Universal
So you're
suffrage.
saying that, are you talking about just the Civil Rights Act as like since the Civil Rights Act?
Absolutely.
No,
60
even
years?
pre the Civil Rights Act. We're talking
I'm not
about
sure who's talking
women's
about what.
suffrage. We're talking about what?
So the 19th Amendment?
Yeah, we're talking about
My
women's
comments,
suffrage.
my comments,
We're talking
my-
about
absolutely.
the states moving away from having the elections held in the states to now national elections. We have been moving
Moderation
into
activity
more of a
will be
universal
shown.
suffrage system, or since the founding, essentially. In fact, the political parties spawned. When they spawned, universal suffrage was kind of a response to them. They wanted power blocks.
Timestamps?
Okay, but I'm trying to get, like, are you suggesting that because the suffrage is so broad, the religious representation is skewed against Christianity, and that if suffrage were narrowed, Christianity would have a better chance
Okay,
of
hopefully
repealing
that
amendments?
No, I'm
how are
saying
they connected?
I'm saying that ultimately, if we're going to break down what America is now,
Crazy.
what it is right this second,
Can you
it's
see all
something
this
more
stuff?
akin to a universal democracy than it is a republic. It's a republic in the sense that we still have some checks and balances intact, but we're more directly moving towards direct democracy than we are a republic. If that's the case, then there's obviously a weakness with direct democracy, and that is that you can vote it out, or you can vote directly to begin to put in people in office that represent your views. And this is what the advocation is towards. So if that's going to be what the system is, and that is what the system now is, then I'm going to advocate for my power block to be in charge of that system, utilizing
that
the
doesn't
systems in
sound like-
place which represent my beliefs best.
Okay, so that doesn't sound to me like Christian nationalism. That sounds like just general politics, which,
Yeah.
politics has always involved voting blocks of like-minded people voting together.
Well, there's many
to
different
push their interests,
flavors.
right?
Well,
But
no, there's
repealing
many
the
different
19th
flavors of
Amendment would be very
democracy.
different.
Do you agree?
Repealing the 19th
No.
Amendment would be
No.
require 3/4 of the states.
Do you agree that Canada and the UK share a voting system, and that it's very different from how the voting system works in the
Yeah,
United
they have
States?
parliamentary system.
Yeah, but do you agree with me that both of these are democracies?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Then when you say that's not what Christian nationalism is, I say it is what Christian nationalism. Yes, it is. You're just saying that there's a form of Christian nationalism you think it's not, and it's like, no, not really.
there's
What the
definitions for Christian
major advocation here is, you're not debating them, you're debating me. And I told you
Okay,
what
but-
it is that I
Oh.
advocate for, and what I
Oh.
advocate for is utilizing
Snappy,
the systems
snappy.
of direct democracy to put
Well,
Christians
yeah,
in
he
charge
should
to
stay
end
on
the system of
on
direct
point.
democracy, because it's stupid.
Yeah.
It's
Okay,
a
but
stupid
there's
system.
A specific, like, scholarly accepted definition of Christian nationalism.
That's an appeal to authority. It's a fallacy. You're not
Okay,
debating
no, I-
them. You're debating me.
That's not a fallacy, because I'm not making a deductive
Do I
argument. I'm not
recognize?
making a
I don't.
claim.
Yeah, okay. Did I give you what I define Christian nationalism? Yes, I did. You're not debating
Sure.
with scholars. You're debating with Andrew Wilson.
Oh.
So, Andrew, just to be
Oh.
clear, you are against authoritarianism. You are against ethnic purity. You are against the embrace of the idea that the elites
When I
are
went to
against.
school,
hang
there's
on,
like
hang
10
on a second.
fallacies. There's
You're
like
kind of-
12 or something.
Now you're loading a
And now
bunch of
there's, like,
stuff onto my
50.
position
Well, those are
that I
the
didn't
scholarly
say.
definitions,
feel
and
really
you're telling
dumb.
me
Those are
you don't-
definitions
I thought
that
you were
you have
15
decided
fallacies
upon.
or
From
something,
who?
and, like, we took a test. And
from
it's hella hard to
what
memorize it.
academics who study
Which
Now I feel like
academic?
There's like a million of them.
Right, but I'm trying to say, so your Christian nationalism is not what they say Christian
Well,
nationalism
you
is.
haven't told me which scholar's saying
Maybe it's
this,
just been a
why
long
he's
time
saying
since
it,
I've
and
took a
how we
logic test,
determined
but,
that
like,
that's
yeah.
actually
There's
what
Kettering
thing is.
criteria, which are an embrace of capitalism, hypercapitalism,
According to who?
authoritarianism. What?
According to who? You?
According to the definitions given by people in the scholarly
Who?
literature. I just told you, the Kettering Foundation.
The Kettering Foundation. Now, this Kettering
It's
Foundation.
mainly based on Whitehead and Perry's work.
This dude,
But let
I
me
could
be
already
clear.
Okay.
tell that
All
this guy,
right, hang
Kurt,
on.
he can't
Let's back
handle
up.
Andrew.
I just want to make sure I get this right. What
Like,
makes the
dude's gonna
Kettering Foundation
get
an
bullied.
authority on the advocation of modern Christian nationalism?
Nothing makes them authorities
Exactly.
on it.
They're not authoritative.
If you're saying your definition is a bespoke definition that doesn't have truck with the standard definition, that's fine. You
There
can
is
find
no
a term.
standard definition.
Okay, there is a standard definition.
there's
in
not.
the scholarly literature.
No, there isn't.
absolutely is.
There is not. Show it to me
Well,
then. Show me the
Sure, I just
standards.
gave it to you.
No, you show me which scholars agree that this is the case.
I said Whitehead and Perry.
Yeah. Which other scholars? You said it's universal among scholars. They agree. Who agrees with them?
I don't know.
You don't know.
What scholars agree with your position?
Know. I'm not making an appeal to them. You are.
Okay, I'm not making an appeal to them. I'm trying to find out your fucking definition, dude.
I told you to you already, and I explained in depth.
So I want to clarify what it excludes from the standard definition, so I can deal with it.
That's not a standard definition.
It is the standard definition.
No, it's not. It's just a definition you decided that you're going to appeal to.
Are you saying your version of Christian nationalism is not authoritarian? Is that correct?
No, it's gonna. There's versions of authoritarianism which would be involved in it, just like there's versions of
Do you accept authoritarianism
hang on.
as part of your Christian
Calm down. Let's make sure that we get this right. Do you think that representative republics use authoritarianism or not?
No, representative republics are by definition.
Okay, well then what is
in that there's no single man rule and there are checks and balances.
So all you mean by authoritarianism is that one guy rules everything?
Yeah, I mean strongman rule. Yeah, Caudillo.
One guy agreed,
yeah, I'm not adverse to there being one person who's in charge. That could be possible.
Christian nationalism is okay with authoritarianism.
Well, if you're defining it as just one guy who's in charge, right? Then yes, there can be a case that could be made that would be fine. Sure.
It's a dictatorship.
Okay, so that's part of your definition as well as the authoritarian.
No. Can be. It can be acceptable, not
you. In other words, you don't rule out authoritarianism. Most Americans.
If you're only
is that like a nice way to say dictatorship?
Let's just use the word a tyrant.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what would be the difference between an authoritarian and a king?
Oh, that's like okay. That's a nice way to say dictatorship. All right.
So
the difference would be that a king would supposedly come from a royal family and have a.
Well, they don't have to, right? Washington could have been a king, and he wouldn't have come from any of that.
Yeah, but he would. Again, if he had become a king, he would have been established as a divine right, just like the Chinese established their dynasties.
So there's no difference there. What about an autocracy? What would be the distinction between that and an autocracy?
Right. So typically an authoritarian or an autocrat or a tyrant would be somebody who seizes power
or just a king,
doesn't try to claim legitimacy.
Or just a king.
They often end up becoming kings. That's correct.
Yeah. Well, then
his Khan.
Yeah.
Is a perfect example.
Then yeah, you could have a Christian nationalism, which a king was acceptable. Sure.
Okay, so you're okay with authoritarianism. How about a belief that the elites are acting against
Jesus
public
king?
interest?
Some elites are, yes.
Jesus
okay,
is king.
So you agree with that one. Then how about hypercapitalism?
Well, I agree with which one?
Hypercapital.
No. Back up to the elites.
Capital economics.
Yeah, back up to the elites.
So there's a general belief among Christian nationalisms that the elites are against the public and that they're selling the public out.
So there's a belief of almost everybody that that's the case.
Okay, but again, I'm just trying to see where you interact with the standard definition.
Yeah, I think that some. Yeah, I think some elites do. Sure.
Okay. So, and then how about in terms of capitalist economics? Do you strongly support capitalist economics?
I do.
Okay, and then do you emphasize religious identification with the country?
Like this is a Christian country?
Yeah.
I would prefer that, sure.
Okay. And then do you recommend ideological and ethnic purity?
When you say purity, what does that mean in this context?
That means you don't want immigration. You don't want dilution from people from other lands and other language communities.
I'm fine with limited immigration.
Okay, so honestly, the definition that the scholars give is not too far from your definition.
Well, it seems like there's quite a bit of delineation, but I would say that we could say the same thing for almost any ideology. For instance, you could say, okay, there's a democracy. Other than authoritarianism, they could fall under the spectrum for all of those things as well. Every single one of them, in fact. They have a heavy preference towards capitalism. They don't want immigration. That would be the UK right now, in fact, right?
You think democracies have an economic system that is necessary to be a democracy?
No, I just think that it seems that there's a economic system which they find preferable, and that does seem to be capitalism. Yes.
Okay, so yeah, but you can imagine a democracy like Norway that has a very like highly socialistic mixed economy.
No, it's mostly
still a
capitalist.
democracy,
It's mostly capitalist. It has strong social safety nets, but it's not very socialist. Like, it's not out there nationalizing industry, right?
Okay.
I mean, you do agree with that, right? That it's not out there like nationalizing all of the industries, and that would be more akin to socialism than just having strong safety nets.
No, I think mixed economies are the norm throughout the world. It's just a question of where you like pull the dials. I think a lot of the left-right discussion is ridiculous because you're just talking about where you're going to set a dial, and it's not that big a deal. You can just change it.
Okay.
Mostly, it's being done to confuse people. But
well, let me now ask and make sure I got your system correct. Are you basically for the status quo then?
Well, again, it depends on what particular portion of the status quo.
Well, here, let's go through the status quo. The status quo is you want universal suffrage to stay basically exactly where it is. Right? Is that right?
I don't have a problem with the voting rights.
And you want the amendments to basically stay right where they are.
I mean, there are amendments that I think might be made better.
But you want them to at least stay intact.
No, not all of them.
Which one do you not want to stay intact?
I think you could certainly update the second with new language.
Okay, so you just remove the Second Amendment. Any other amendments?
I mean, I don't have a coherent theory of government that I'm defending here. I'm just going.
Well, I'm not asking for a coherent theory of governance here. I'm just asking. I just want to make sure that when you're debating this, are you debating this from the position that the status quo is better?
Oh yes, the status quo is definitely better than Christian.
The status quo is definitely better. Okay, got it. So the status quo then is basically what you're defending against Christian nationalism.
Yeah, the American settlement. Yeah, the settlement in which we saw what happened in the English Civil War, and we said we don't want one group of faith patrons to take control of armies and fight with other faith people.
Now help me out.
And that failed.
Yeah, I understand.
That failed.
I understand the historic. I understand the historic
religious war in the war.
Yeah, I understand the historic prism, but help me out here just to understand a couple other things. Would you want you would want witchcraft and Satanism and these things to be protected under the Constitution, correct?
I mean, I would protect plural religious beliefs, whatever those religious beliefs.
So witchcraft and Satanism
do not harm other people.
Right, exactly, and that's what we're getting to. So witchcraft and Satanism, you would want protected as long as you're not harming other people.
Any religion. Sure.
Okay, so when the Church of Satan comes out and says that specifically they want to protect Roe v. Wade as a ruling, right? You would have to concede that Christians believe overwhelmingly that they're supporting mass murder, right?
Oh, I don't think.
I'm not asking if it's true. I'm not asking if their belief is justified.
I don't know if it's an overwhelming majority of Christians.
You don't think so?
Sorry, my slurping is loud. I don't know how much you can hear me.
I'm not 100% sure on the sociology of it. There are certainly many devout, faithful Christians who don't support.
This is me.
Abortion.
Roe v. Wade being overturned.
No, there's not really. There's most of the traditional Christians.
There are religious hospitals that
most of the traditional Christian churches do. But if you wanted a complete breakdown, we can actually pull one up. But the whole point here is to ask you this:
subscribers up. I play chess. I do stuff like this.
Of a mass of Christians. Let's just say it's not even the majority. It's like 49%.
A comedy night too.
That is mass murder.
Like a Zoom, right? And then people can.
Would they then have moral obligations to stop that mass murder?
So get
from their
or stay tuned for that. Follow me.
And if you're saying that if people think something is bad, they should try to stop it. Of course.
And so, if they say, "Well,
so like if you think you're funny, it'll be a safe place
towards this idea of abortion,"
the chats and all
why wouldn't they be resisting those ideologies?
Comedy,
why wouldn't
they have like?
Of course, they would. So the idea here that Christians are trying to get other Christians in the positions of power, and we're even willing to erode these various systems. We kind of have to, because you want to utilize these systems in order to protect abortion rights, the status quo, right?
Who are the people who aren't Christians?
Just another one trying to grow.
What do you mean?
Sorry,
the entirety.
Like,
the entirety.
Country that doesn't have any Christians in power.
Well, there's 4.
Who are those people that are not Christians?
Well, I would argue that there's a 4th branch of government, or possibly even a 5th. Some people refer to the media as the 4th branch of government. I've never really thought so. I've always thought that the 4th branch is the lobbyists and the NGOs.
If you're an atheist,
it's like a group of elites who are controlling.
No, it's not. It's not even a group of elites. It's just corporate interests.
Kept at home.
You agree with me that it's documented that there's hundreds and hundreds of NGOs which have assisted with abortion rights advocacy in the United States. That's not even in question, right?
I think there's hundreds of NGOs on most sides of most issues.
Sure,
yeah.
sure. So it's not. That's not even.
The more NGOs.
So that's not even. That's not even in question. And that many of them are millionaires and billionaires, as Bernie Sanders, which are millionaires and billionaires, right?
There are millionaires and billionaires on either side of each.
Totally. I totally agree. But the point here is that that's why I said some elites, right? If it's the case that you have a mass majority, or not even a mass majority, but a mass of people, right, who are funding abortion advocacy, and you're saying, no, the status quo is better. This is why I said in my opening statement, better for who? You say it would be the best thing for Christians. Remember, this is what you said in your opening statement. What you're here to defend is that it's actually best for Christians. Can you explain to me, sir, how it would be best for Christians from their view to have abortion rights on demand for women? How would that be better for Christians? How?
Well, let's not talk about abortion.
We're not talking about abortion. We're talking about your claim, and your claim is Christian nationalism will be bad for Christians themselves.
Yeah, and absolutely.
And then you say the status quo is superior to Christian nationalism. So then you would need to defend why it is in the status quo of you wanting there to be abortion rights on demand. How would that actually be better for Christians?
Well, okay, let's just look at Ireland, right? So we can look at Ireland in the 20th century. It's a Christian nationalist country. It absolutely had church control of these sorts of things, and abortion was outlawed. And what you got were these residential homes where these women who couldn't get abortions were going. They were massively abused by the Catholic Church. They were subjected to all kinds of abuse, all the ones I want to mention. And their children were sometimes died out of neglect and buried on site without any kind of knowledge of the state.
And how did abortion?
That was because there was not a way for women who wanted to terminate a pregnancy to get that done legally and safely.
Wait, how many cases of this do you think there were?
Christian nationalists.
How many cases of this do you think there were? Of women
the Magdalene homes are
women,
national.
Hang on. Of women who were not able to get abortions who wanted them. They wanted them. You would have to define that. Yeah.
That's why the Magdalene homes existed.
But because they couldn't get abortions?
In the entire country.
And do you think that the Christians would have supported you putting in rigorous abortion rights for women? On-demand abortion?
Irish did put in rigorous abortion rights.
The Irish government did, pushed by secularists. That's true.
Wait, the Irish government is, as far as I know, run by Catholics.
Pushed by secularists, though. That's why I reference NGOs,
pushed by
special interest groups.
Beliefs about the abortion issue, which is irrelevant to Christianity.
No, it's not irrelevant. Let's point this out.
There's nothing in the Bible
Tell
about
me
abortion.
right now.
Talk about the Bible's stance on abortion?
Let's talk specifically about here. No, it's irrelevant. Remember? Whether it's true or not.
Okay, it is irrelevant. I agree. So let's talk about
stop. Listen to what I'm saying. Whether it's true or not, you said in your opening, and I agreed with you, whether Christianity is true or not is not what's relevant here.
Yeah,
what's relevant here is on what people perceive as better outcomes for themselves based on government design. What you haven't explained to me here in the United States is why it is that Christians would want to say to you, okay, let's keep the status quo in place. If Christian nationalism assured that 600,000 babies a year, by their view, weren't being smited in the womb, why would they prefer the status quo? Why?
So do you know what that number was in 1967?
No, what was it?
It was 800,000.
Okay.
That was before Roe v. Wade.
Do you know what the birth rate was in 1960s? There was a lot more to abort. So the point is like, when we're looking at this,
actually the abortion rate per pregnancy was higher in 1967 than it is now.
Right.
And that was when it was illegal nationwide.
Relevancy whatsoever to you explaining to me how it is that Christians would want to enforce your ideology of the status quo if it's the case that Christian nationalism is promising them an abolishment to abortion, which is the issue of their time.
The abortion issue is a single issue that can be handled through normal political means and has been handled in a way that I don't support. It hasn't through normal political means.
It hasn't been handled through normal political means.
Yeah,
What's happened? What
Wade.
Christians want is they want a constitutional amendment that you cannot get an abortion. Yeah, maybe they can compromise on exemptions for specific things, but that's what they actually want is that. And if they can't get that through normal means, and they're assured that they will get that through other means of Christian nationalism, Christians.
So you think Christians right now want a constitutional amendment to do what?
I think that they would institute a constitution. If they could, they would put in a constitutional amendment to outlaw abortion.
Well, they can.
They can't.
Because, of course,
they can't.
The amendment process still works.
Yeah, but they don't have the numbers.
15, 2/3.
They don't have the numbers.
And 3/4 of the states.
Yeah, they don't have the numbers.
So what we're saying is they can't.
Yeah, that's my point. They can't.
Good girl.
Yeah, so they can't.
Good
so
girl.
that's just normal politics.
Yeah, so what? That's my whole point. Even if it's normal politics, if it's the case that they used abnormal politics, let's say, and we're able to get.
You want an authoritarian who will ride roughshod over the American system.
That's irrelevant.
To get his way.
Totally irrelevant. You have to explain to me why Christians, because you remember this.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, then explain to me what a Christian wouldn't give up for life and liberty to save 600,000 babies per year. What?
Okay, so yeah, life and liberty. In 1838, people who identify as Christians were being targeted for extermination in the United States. That's life and liberty, dude.
Wait, I'm sorry. Say the last part again.
In 1838, people who identify as Christians were being targeted for extermination with a kill-on-sight order in the United States because of their religious beliefs.
You mean Mormon terrorists?
That is life and liberty.
Mormon terrorists?
Mormon terrorists?
Is that what you're talking about?
People who identify as
Christians.
Christians.
Mormon terrorists is what you're referencing.
If that's your call,
because that's
your
what
call.
they were. They were Mormon terrorists, and that's why they were driven out. Like you leave that whole
under
part
your
of it
Christian nationalism, under your Christian nationalism, that would be legal, right?
It's legal right now under all forms of nationalism to on-site kill terrorists. Right here in the United States, right now under your democracy, under your status quo, Barack Obama could shoot and did a missile and kill a United States citizen.
Okay,
because he was a fucking terrorist, bro.
If you think the extermination order just said terrorists or combatants, that's incorrect.
Is this live or
members of the faith?
Oh, wait a second. Do you understand, right, that because maybe they use different linguistic models there, but right this second, if Mormons were labeled terrorists in the United States, if they were labeled terrorist officially by the United States government has the ability under current U.S. law to shoot a missile into their house and blow them up. You realize that, right? Hang on. Do you realize that?
I do think that those laws may be on the books. Is that happening?
Yes, it has happened. They have launched missiles and killed U.S. citizens
in their home.
Yes. Well, if they're living abroad, yes, they've done it.
Oh, you mean living abroad, not
they're
in the
U.S.
U.S.
citizens.
That would never happen here.
U.S. citizens supposed to have the right.
Absolutely.
Are they?
I'm aware.
Do they have the right to due process? Yes, they do.
Yeah,
but if they're labeled as terrorists, we can kill them right this second.
Yeah. Again, that's a normal political problem. That has nothing to do with Christians.
It's not a normal. Listen, but you're saying that the status quo is better. The status quo is better. And then you cite the
entire status quo.
They could label.
I endorse the status quo as it regards religious pluralism in the United States.
When you say, hey, they could have labeled an entire group and killed them before, they could label an entire group and kill them now under the status quo.
No, they could not. No, they could not. They could not identify all Mormons, even 12-year-old kids who just got baptized and just got their first priesthood.
Didn't they just identify
and start killing them?
Did they just identify all Antifa as being terrorists?
So do you think that there are like 12-year-old kids who say I'm Antifa and then people are going and shooting them?
Whether they are or not doesn't mean that they couldn't under the law. The case of the matter is that under the law, if you are a suspected terrorist member of Al Qaeda and a U.S. citizen, yes, they can kill you under the Patriot Act. That's correct.
Yeah. I completely agree that may very well be the law.
You are not, your bumpers here are not even protecting us from the thing you claim you would actually protect us from. If secularists got into office and labeled some Christian sect terrorists, right? The federal government, under their rule right now, would actually have the ability to fucking kill them, right?
Now, what if an
Hang on, answer my
authoritarian
question.
got in power?
Answer my question. Right this second, if secularists...
the way the terror laws are written is hugely problematic. And even
so what the
very
fuck are you
definition
protecting
of
us from then, bro? What are you protecting us from?
Protecting us right now
was that the first
that
F-bomb?
nobody has thought to do that.
Oh, when they do, when they get around to it.
But Andrew,
I wonder if that's
so
going to
you
rattle
agree
Kurt.
that terrorism should be defined more clearly.
That's not the
and that
first
it should
sig.
include all violent
It's not
people, whether they're
relevant. What's
Christian or not,
relevant
right?
is the thing you're pointing to.
You agree that there are Christian
not
terrorists
relevant. What's
who
relevant?
commit terroristic acts.
What's relevant?
Who should be able to be killed on
Irrelevant.
sight.
What's relevant is that the very guardrails you claim would protect us from the evil Christian nationalists who could then go after this group they don't like, that they allocated group bad. Under the law, the secularists, right this second, under your guardrails, do the exact fucking same thing.
Secularists.
Yes, it's
Who are the secularists?
You claim that. I'm sorry. Do you claim that the United States is a secular nation?
I claim the United States has always practiced religious pluralism and is a majority Christian nation.
Is it a secular nation under the law?
No.
It's religiously plural.
Is there a separation from church and state?
Yeah, there's a separation of church and state.
Well, what do you
Correct.
think secularism means?
Well, a secular nation would be a nation that's actively anti-theist, like the communists.
I don't think that that's the case. Can we
suck?
get a definition of secularism to make sure?
Secular would be no favored religion, if you want to see it that way.
Yeah,
then
I
yes.
think, yeah. So then, yeah. So if that's the case, then under secular rule,
Do you still
So
have to
Donald
say the
Trump
Pledge
is
of
under
Allegiance?
secular rule, he's in a more secular office. Yeah. But the thing
So he's a
is,
secularist,
if
right?
you still have
no,
to
I
say
didn't
the
say
Pledge
he's
of
a
Allegiance, then you're
secularist.
not
Was
sep-
Joe
you're not-
Biden
do you
Biden
it's not
understand? Do you
separate.
understand the distinction? Like,
I
if
pledge
it's the
allegiance
case
to
that
the
you're
flag
in
of
an
the United
office,
to the
you
republic
can
for
be
which
in an
it stands,
office
one
which is
nation,
secular.
under
That doesn't
God,
mean you personally
indivisible.
believe in secularism. That's not the
Okay.
case.
It's not
But
secular.
now,
Who
hang
are
on,
the
hang on. I'm
secularist
pointing this
presidents?
out. I'm pointing this out.
It's not secular.
Inside of what you believe to be the secular United States, the very same bumper that's on it, which would prevent, quote, targeting of American citizens, right? We already have under that secular framework. You haven't protected us from that.
The 14th Amendment is the amendment that protects people from that.
But it
Which means
doesn't, because they can be allocated as terrorists and you can launch a missile up their asshole.
Okay, so do you understand that there's a public outcry when the government oversteps its authority? Have you ever heard of that
There's
happening?
public outcry when monarchs overstep their authority. There's
Yeah,
public
yeah,
outcry
exactly.
when anybody does this. That would be the same
Correct.
thing in a Christian nationalist state.
So no. So this is what I'm trying to get. It sounds like you're just talking about normal political conflicts. You're talking about problems with terrorism. You're talking about the problems with abortion.
No,
What
I'm
I'm trying
not.
to
What
find
I'm
out-
showing is that under a secular framework, the things which you claim what protect Christians and are the best for Christians, because, and then you cite a historic example of persecution of a group, that secular framework has not saved us from that happening. That can happen.
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't save the Fancher Party when they came through Utah. That's correct.
It's not saving anybody from nothing. So the question is like, my
No, it
question
does-
to you.
it-
my
you know
que-
what it saves?
What does it say?
It saves people who want to show up and redress their government and have grievances and belong to a protected
That's
group.
what the Second Amendment
They-
that you want to abolish is for, actually.
No, the 14th Amendment is what
No,
does
the
that.
Second Amendment is the ultimate safeguard.
We
from that.
already know that carrying a gun to a protest is a good way to get killed.
Yeah, we also know
So-
that carrying a gun to a
That is
revolution
true,
is a way to
dude.
form a
Yeah,
country.
why did he have that
So
on
wait,
him?
is that so? That's what I'm wondering. Are you promoting
Dude,
a revolution?
why did
Because
you have a
no
blicky on
chance
you
of
at a
repealing the
peaceful
19th
protest?
Amendment. You have no chance of repealing the 14th.
And we had no chance of repealing Roe v. Wade, right? The thing is that through the powers of
You should not have
persuasion,
had that on you, bro.
that just as communists came in and over many generations were able to persuade people towards different forms of governance and different ideas, so I think Christians can do exactly the same. And I think that we can
Where are you
also
playing with
elect
the communists
politicians which
doing
will
that?
erode these various things. Oh, well, what do you mean, man? After when communists in academia, that's not even a question. That's not even in.
You're
Is that
talking
even in
about
question?
communists in academia?
Yeah, of course.
You think that the majority of academia is Marxist?
Not Marxist anymore, but I think that Marxists began the process of mass progressivism inside of academia. Yes, I do.
Non-Christian.
And I think that not only that, I think it's easy to track. And when you look at think tanks who work with these NGOs, the heads of them are most often progressives, and they utilize college campuses as a recruiting ground.
Well, wait.
How can I prove that? Because
Christians?
that's why they killed Charlie Kirk. That's why the progressives, or this progressive killed Charlie Kirk, is because he was having such an influence on college campuses.
He was a Christian.
Yeah, he was a Christian. Okay.
Yeah.
Weren't you raised a Christian?
I was.
Then you're a Christian.
No, I specifically disavowed my Christianity.
So if the guy, so just because the guy was raised by Christians doesn't make him a Christian? Got it.
I don't think there's been any claim that he disavowed his childhood faith that I've seen from anything.
Except he went and murdered somebody in cold blood, which is against Christian ethics.
Well, have you read the story of Jael and Sisera in the Bible?
Is modern? Can you show me an actual?
Can you show
me a modern Christian church, a serious modern Christian church, which is advocating that you can just go and murder people? Any?
You mean right now?
Yeah, right now.
The churches in Uganda that support killing
gays.
That's
not when we're talking about I'm talking about the United States. Show me in the United States, the country which we're talking about, any mainstream Christian church which is advocating for the murder.
If you're going to say mainstream, then of course.
Well, I can't say mainstream academics either, right? But I can point to fringe groups, and then you would say, but they're fringe.
Andrew, I'm not here to defend academia. I just thought there was a country where Marxists had done a generations-long indoctrination strategy, and it didn't know you were talking about universities. You know that a lot of universities are Christian and operated by Christians, right? Like Notre Dame. Do you think Notre Dame has been taken over by Marxists?
Yeah, definitely. Notre Dame definitely has massive socialist influence inside of it.
And how about the Catholic Church in general? Would you say the Catholic Church?
I would say that the Catholic Church has a huge problem with progressive ideology, which came from Marxists as well. Yeah.
So what would have protected the Catholic Church?
Rigorism, like what Orthodoxy has, because they hate communists. And the reason they hate communists is because of their direct persecution by communists.
So the Orthodox Church was specifically built to withstand like these
No, it wasn't built. No, it wasn't built specifically.
Your team Andrew. Is that because you're just like full team Andrew, or because you're
that it is
a Christian as well, and you believe?
And do you follow the Orthodox apostolic tradition? Like, do you think it's correct?
I do.
And do you think it's instituted by God through the apostolic tradition?
I do.
Okay. And so if the Orthodox Church says something is a heresy, then it is a heresy, period, right?
Well, the Orthodox Church doesn't run the same way that you would find in Catholicism with a pope or something like this.
Yeah, that's correct.
They have general consensus based on what their patriarchs say, but patriarchs can be wrong. So there's a structure to all of that, which is somewhat irrelevant to this. What is relevant here and what you've managed to evade. By the way, can you take the super chat down so that you can stop blocking my entire face during this debate? That'd be great.
No, keep it
up. What is relevant here
off.
Is you still haven't actually explained to me how it is that Christians would not prefer a move towards Christian nationalism if that would mean that they would be able to stop hundreds of thousands of abortions yearly. Why would they not prefer that again?
Well, first of all, not all Christians think that abortion should be illegal. So I don't think that you've established.
And not all secularists believe that abortion should be illegal.
Absolutely correct. That's a normal political problem.
But it is
that
a minor. But it is.
That is a Christian versus.
But if I can demonstrate to you that most Christians do want it abolished.
Even if a minor majority wanted it, if it was 65, 70%, that's just a political problem.
Well, then isn't everything just a political problem?
Regular politics.
Yeah.
That's not something.
Then everything's just a political problem.
Yeah, it is.
Then everything's a political problem. What isn't a political problem? If we had a king, that's just a political problem. Everything's a political
I want
problem.
to get back though.
Hang on, stop. I want to make sure we got this right. I want to make that has no bearing on the debate.
It's a political problem.
What specifically here can you tell me, or please explain to me, what isn't just a political problem then? Isn't everything just a political problem?
A normal political problem.
What's an abnormal political problem? You're talking about
things that would be revolutionary, like getting rid of the 19th Amendment.
How would that be? The 19th Amendment was revolutionary.
Which three quarters of the state?
Wait a second. Hang on.
Right now, you would get to sign on
the 19th Amendment,
disenfranchising women.
The 19th Amendment was revolutionary. What do you mean?
The 19th Amendment followed many states having already given women suffrage.
No, most of the early states, women voted against it. They voted against the right. When they had the right to vote, they voted against the right to vote. That's one.
So you understand that the 19th Amendment got 2/3 of both houses and 3/4 of the states, right?
So hang on. It's irrelevant. That part is not the relevant part to what we're discussing. What's relevant what's relevant here is whether or not it is the case that you say there's normal political problems and then abnormal political problems. And then you say there has to be some sort of thing which is revolutionary. That's the problem I have in the language. Was the 19th Amendment revolutionary?
No, it wasn't.
Then why taking it away be revolutionary? Why would taking it away be revolutionary?
Because you already had states that were granting the franchise to women long before the 19th Amendment, and the 19th Amendment just nationalized a trend that had already formed.
Well, why would
there are no states
why would it
right
be the
now
case?
That have disenfranchised women? When those states are not disenfranchising women, that would be revolutionary.
As long as one state,
it would be taking something that currently exists and removing it.
That's not what something that's revolutionary is. Something that's revolutionary is something that's brand new and it's big.
Yeah, that breaks up the existing order in a way that's fundamentally different.
Ridiculous. So then any new amendment would be revolutionary.
No, they could be
unprecedented.
Prohibition wasn't revolutionary.
Well, and so hang on, but was taking away prohibition revolutionary?
No, neither one were.
Why not?
Because they're not fundamental restructurings of the understanding of the people and how their lives were.
Prohibition was a complete restructuring of how people's lives were. When you look at the founding and just the amount of booze
around alcohol,
just the amount of booze our founders ordered in when they were drafting the Constitution, it would kill guys like you and I. If we had attended their parties, we would be dead men. And you know this. It completely restructured how American society
literally lethal back.
Completely restructured how American society was even able to operate. It gave rise to bootleggers, gave rise to the organized mafia. It was a completely revolutionary act. The whole by your metric, how could that not be? And then
this is not a discussion of what's a revolution.
No, it's a
discussion of how Christian nationalism would remove the settlement of religious pluralism in the United States.
No, it's not. This is a question.
A fundamental break with the imaging.
It's a question of what's best for society, not a question of how it's going to do X, but whether or not the X thing that it's doing is achieving good things for people. And so the question is again, we're going to go back to this. If it's not revolutionary to take away alcohol, and it's not revolutionary to institute a ban on alcohol, then how the hell could it be revolutionary to take away abortion? Many states already restrict it. And by your metric, you say as long as states are already restricting it, so would it be revolutionary for us to completely overturn Roe v. Wade?
I don't think it would be a revolution one direction or the other what happens with abortion. But very, very importantly, there will never be no abortions. There will never be no sex work. Those things happen in every society.
So what?
They've happened since
to murder. So to murder. We'll make no laws against murder because they happen in every society. Silly.
Again, there's clearly laws against murder, and there are clearly murders.
Exactly.
The question is how you will deal with those legally.
Well, abortion is murder.
Do you agree with me?
Get your coalition on board.
Do you agree with me that the abolishment of murder, saying that murder is a crime, acts as a deterrent?
Well, there's no federal mandate about how states have to treat murder. States' murder laws come from the common
feds
law.
have their own mandates for how they treat murder.
There's a federal murder law.
Yeah, but that's because of a separation. That's because of the separation of powers via the 10th Amendment. But the thing is that the states, they do have to adhere to rigorism between interstate, right? That is actually
Yeah,
governed.
they have to follow due process, which is what the 14th Amendment
so the
gives
thing is like, look, as you look at this, it's very simple for me to see. You agree with me that murder laws are a great deterrent. They have to act as a deterrent. If you made murder legal tomorrow, a lot more people would get murdered, right?
Everybody would be dropping.
No, I don't see them as a huge deterrent. They're a deterrent, but I don't see them as a huge deterrent.
You think if we legalized murder tomorrow,
most people who kill people do it for reasons
purge,
that don't have anything to do with whether it's legal or not.
So if we said you can kill anybody you want for any reason you want, you don't think that people would just start killing each other?
No, I don't.
So then why have the law at all?
Again, look, the murder rates drop when you get a civilization, right? But when we look at countries or places where there's like no enforcement and there's no law that has the ability to enforce that.
Where's there no enforcement?
Everybody murders everybody.
Where's the enforcement? Where's there a place where there's no enforcement of law? Even at a tribal level.
Societies.
Yes, they had enforcement of law. Of course they did. They had lawgivers.
So no, hunter-gatherer societies don't have lawgivers because they don't have laws because they don't have writing.
First of all, you don't need writing in order to have laws. You can have oral laws and oral traditions, and hunter-gatherer societies did have oral laws, oral traditions. Otherwise, they couldn't have communicated at all. They wouldn't have had rules for anything.
They had language, if that's what you're going to say.
And not just that. The idea here, it's absurd to me for you. Even if I granted this, even if I grant, okay, you're right.
Think our species got through where everybody was just trying to kill everybody all the time?
I think that if you removed a penalty, any sort of penalty for killing people in the United States, you would wake up tomorrow and there'd be a lot of dead people.
Yeah.
There would be more murders.
No, significantly.
But I don't think that it would be a war of all against all.
I didn't say all against all. What I'm saying is that it would increase so drastically, so fucking quickly,
like a Billy, right?
That it would be like you would.
I don't want to run the counterfactual or do the experiment.
In America,
if that's what you're asking.
World?
I think it's a very bad idea.
In America,
to make murder legal.
Why though? Because it's a deterrent, right?
But I do think that people make calculations about what they're going to do, often completely irrelevant to what's on the actual.
Oh wait, it's because it's a deterrent,
especially if they are emotional about it.
Yeah, but it's because it's a deterrent, right?
Well, a lot of people.
I grant that it's a somewhat of a deterrent.
Not somewhat; it's a massive deterrent.
Okay, well, that's not our topic.
The reason that this ties in, though, is because when we're talking about law, you seem to just be saying, well, wait a second, Andrew. Here's the thing. Even if you get rid of abortion, there's still going to be abortions. I can grant that that's true. But to tell me that there won't be a significant drop due to the deterrent is wild. That's wild to me. Not only that.
I just gave you the numbers. There were 800,000 abortions a year in 1967.
Okay.
That's with a population that was probably 60 or 70 million smaller.
Yeah, let us take a look. 1967. How many abortions are you claiming there were?
Between 600 and 800,000 is the best estimates.
Okay. And why? What's your reasoning for why?
My reasoning for why is because there was less contraception at that time. Contraception was less effective. And so there were
not because there was a significant legal shift in the Abortion Act in 1967 in Great Britain, which legalized it up to 24 weeks. That's not why.
In Great Britain? I'm not talking about Great Britain. I'm talking about the United States.
I thought you were talking about Great Britain here. No?
No, I'm talking about before Roe v. Wade in the United States.
Gotcha. Sorry. So let me make sure here. Abortions in the United States.
That's a long time. That's crazy.
Okay.
6 months.
I actually cannot find these numbers.
Well,
that's wild.
Where can I find?
This is not the issue I'm here.
Hang on. Where can I find these numbers?
Yeah,
they're
seriously.
broadly estimated by scholars who study this issue. I don't want to get off track on that.
I thought you must have been talking about Great Britain because that seemed to be numbers which correlate with that.
But I'm not talking about Great Britain. I'm talking about the United States.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But this is not the issue that I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about how you prevent Christian on Christian violence in a Christian nationalist state, which is the problem.
Hang on, got it. All right, now I understand. Planned Parenthood put out these fake numbers. So here it is. In 1967, the report number of legal abortions was very low.
Right, like
very low. estimated rates
because they were illegal.
Stop.
When
Estimated rates of illegal abortions were high, ranging from 200,000 to 1.2 million. That's what you're referencing, right?
Because that's
combined abortion rates.
The Gut Marker Institute numbers. That's typically what I've seen reported.
You could be the next
Yes.
president.
And where did those reports come from? Do you know?
Whether it's that moment or
I'm not an academic specialist on this, and I don't think that it's really germane to our topic.
That's a lifeline.
Whereas what is germane to our topic is,
man,
I'm happy you were
three
born
main strands of Christian nationalism in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So the three main strands are
it's not three main strands of Christian
Catholic
nationalism.
integrationism. There's New Apostolic Reformation, and there's the Doug Wilson Moscow, Idaho Christian nationalist group that's associated with Pete Hegseth.
There's multitudes of movements towards
those are the three
ideals of Christian nationalism.
They are very, very.
Well, you're debating
right?
my ideals for it, not theirs.
Yeah, they're very, very different, though.
Yes.
So, if there was a Christian nationalist government, do you think that there would not be disputes among Christians about which Christian group was correct?
Of course.
You think there would not be that?
No, I think there would be. Of course.
There would be. And what would prevent them from becoming bloody? Well,
what would prevent them would be the same thing which has always prevented them. You have the same problem. This criticism is a similar problem from you. Do you agree with me that there's tons of different ideologies in the United States right this second who are all competing for power? Do you agree that that's true?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are political blocs that want specific things done.
So why aren't they out there just killing each other, even though they completely disagree with each other? Even though they're vying for power. Why?
Well, because if they're using normal political means, then they're just saying we have an opinion. That opinion comes from us. We hold this opinion because it's important to us personally.
I see.
And we want to disagree with you about this.
So
they're not saying I'm getting a divine beaming of knowledge into my head.
Yeah, I know. They're just saying instead, I just made it. I'm just talking about my preferences. I just prefer this. That's what they're talking about instead.
Okay, but Christians don't do that.
Yeah, they don't need. Yeah, but the thing is like, why is it that you think that secularists who vie for power, right, inside of the United States, or atheists who vie for power in the United States, also, if you had a removal of Christianity, wouldn't run into the same exact issue? Well, all that is required is that people.
That's why I'm saying the government shouldn't be religious.
Yeah, but it wouldn't matter. It's not going to prevent this idea of distinct ideologies warring for which one's the best. Or would Christians and Christian nationalism fight endlessly amongst each other for who is the best Christian denomination? Yeah, probably. They fight about that right this second. But every ideology is always fighting every other ideology about which one's the best and deserves to be in power, and they're all willing to use violence for it to one degree or another, depending on which ideology, what time, when, where. It's the same. You have the same problem I have. No. When you ask specifically which one would I prefer to see,
people kill way more than us.
I would prefer to see the one that helped me and assisted me with my political views. If I ask you the same question in reverse, if there were secularists who disagreed with many of your foundational views, right, but were willing to institute policies that you agreed with, would you still back them up?
I mean, there's various levels of backing a given candidate or a given issue. Right?
I agree, but you would.
Point of moderation.
That somebody completely agreed with me and I backed them fully, I would back them more.
But broadly, you would
agree that they're the better of two evils. I would just vote for them.
Exactly. That's the whole point.
That's all just normal politics.
That's my whole point. Everything's just normal politics.
The country with a religious identity.
Oh, everything's just normal politics, according to you. When we get to what's revolutionary, what's not, you can't even make up your mind.
United States.
All right, y'all, just one moment. Point of moderation, please. So we've completed the first hour. Right now, we've got 44 additional minutes, so I'll be starting the timer. Feel free to open up keep it around the main topic, but feel free to open it up a little bit more and be a little bit more broad with the discussion. We've got 44 minutes starting now.
Okay, let me try a different line of questioning. And then maybe we can try it this way. By the way, Kurt, you've been very good faith this debate. You actually have, and I'm actually
I'm enjoying the conversation.
Yeah, that impresses me because most people aren't. So I'm willing to make a deal with you. If you give me the first 20 minutes, I'll give you the second 20 minutes.
Sure.
That sound fair? All right.
Sounds fair.
So let's start with this. And under your view, would you agree with me broadly that people who hold your ideology You just basically, you want people in charge who, in some way, shape, or form represent your preferences, right?
I'm just going to basically answer yes.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense to me, right? From the viewpoint that you have. Christians also, would you agree that they want people in charge who represent their interests?
Each individual Christian, sure.
Yeah. Well, even collectively, we do.
Yeah.
No, I don't think you can say anything about Christianity collectively.
Well, not monolithically, but collectively.
There's no monolith at all.
Yeah, I'm not saying monolithically, but collectively. There's different collections of people. For instance, Catholics, I would say there's at least something to be said for a collective there. There's disagreement too, I agree. But there's a collectivization which happens with that. And blocks are formed based on power structures of people who are in agreement with each other, right? That would be collectivization. Yeah, so they're collectivizing.
That's normal politics.
And they're collectivizing to have their interests represented, right?
I have to get better at politics.
Sure.
So inside of a democracy,
and not be part of a group at all.
Yeah, sure. So
you can also be part of a group.
Inside of a democracy, something that has universal suffrage, if I'm able to convince enough people to agree with my view, and we simply go in there and vote out democracy, we're not actually, all we're doing is what's in our represented interest from our view, right? That the thing that aligns with our preference, right?
As long as there's no seizing power, as long as it's done under the rules, as long as there's no authoritarian intimidation and like violation of the existing rules at the time, that's how politics is supposed to happen.
So if I was able to collectivize enough people to vote out democracy, you would not object to that.
I mean, I would object to it to the degree that I would not be in favor of those people.
Right.
But if that is what took place, that would be what took place.
Would you be willing? Would you be willing to, if that was something which was going to happen, and they were going to vote in a strong man and get rid of democracy, that was actually on the ballot, and they used their Democrat vote to do that? Would you resist that?
No, I'd probably emigrate.
So you would flee?
No, I wouldn't flee. I would emigrate.
What do you mean? Where?
I would go somewhere else that was more in line with what I wanted.
With what you believed, right?
Yeah, with what I wanted out of life.
Now if you stay...
I've studied enough history to know that when the strongman gets voted in and the democracy ends, things don't go well. There's almost always going to be death squads when there's authoritarians, right? So authoritarian Christians tend to have death squads, and I don't like that.
I mean, I would just argue that, sort of republics, they just mostly do it abroad. But the point is here is, as we're looking at this, right, that wouldn't represent your preferences, so you would flee. If people stayed here and fought against that with physical force, no tyrants, we're not doing this, would you support them? Would you be like, yeah, man, fuck that, get those people?
All of those sorts of decisions are very difficult to handle in the abstract. It usually depends on a sequence of events.
Did you at least see a sequence of events in which it was the case?
Personally, I would not support violence if the rules had been followed and the structure was done in the way that followed the
So for you,
structure.
The threat of Christian nationalism itself is just procedural.
Well, again, I see Christian nationalism as being a very specific set of things that most of those things you seem to have been at least somewhat okay with. And those things almost always lead to a breakdown of the constitutional rule in the places where they've been tried.
Well, we don't really have much in the way of references to
Italy, Spain, South Africa.
We don't have much in the way of history on constitutional rule because it's a brand new thing. That's a thing which you just don't see.
We have the oldest single continuously informed government on earth.
For how many years?
250 years.
Mm-hmm. So it's very young. So the thing is we don't have
the oldest existing government.
That's true, but it's also very young. And the Constitution has changed multiple times and been amended multiple times.
Yeah,
you can't even say it's the original Constitution anymore because it's not. Yeah, so I would argue that I know that this is thrown around a lot, that it's the oldest existing constitution from unchanging government, but I think it's changed quite a bit personally. And then I would point this out as well. 250 years isn't very long. It's not very long. It's a drop in the bucket from a historical standpoint. So we don't really have a huge reference point here. And democracies have failed many, many, many times. Republics have failed many, many, many times. And so the thing is like the safeguards which are there are not so great. So my question to you is this: if we could assure to you that you could have a republic that was representative and everybody really focused on the idealism portion, right? But it would take certain amounts of cultural engineering for people to do that. Would you be for that?
I'd have to, again, I can't just endorse an idea that I'm not seeing how it's going to work.
Like, let's say that there's strong propaganda from the top down, which reinvigorates the idea of the American family. Yeah, it reinvigorates an idea of patriotism, reinvigorates an idea of nation and family, reinvigorates all of these ideas. And so people, they're willing to really protect the idea of checks and balances, the idealism of Americana, because they really feel like there's something there they can grasp.
This just sounds like World War II era propaganda.
Sure. Well, let's just use that. That's fine. Right? Was that good for the nation?
Yeah.
Sure, yeah, it was good for the nation. And so if I'm telling you that I want to capture ideologically people by doing the exact same thing, using top-down propaganda, the invigoration of the American family, the various ideas of unity under Christian ethics, the idea of there's one type of family unit which we should strive toward, which is a mommy and a daddy. Yeah, but the thing is, hang on. Would you compromise on you not liking that if it meant that the republic would continue and that democracy would continue? Would you compromise on these like minority groups who get upsetty spaghetti about everything? Would you compromise on their feelings to make sure that we had a strong republic?
Are you saying I'm a legislator or a voter?
Well, in this case, it wouldn't matter. You'd be voting or legislating.
As a voter, I wouldn't compromise at all. No, I'd vote.
As a legislator, would you then?
Again, legislation is the art of the possible. So if there was a big enough block for a big enough thing, it depends on the person. But, as a legislator, it's a much, much tougher choice what to do.
Would you compromise what the minority wants in order to continue to keep the republic strong?
I mean, you're making it very abstract.
It's not that abstract. I'm telling you how they're doing it.
It depends on the compromise. If it's compromising, it's going to lead
there's no more gay marriage.
Then I would be not against.
There's no more gay marriage, and there's no more abortion, and there's no more sex work.
If there's
okay, I get it. I understand you don't want there to be no abortion. I understand that you want gays to get married, and I understand that you may want these things. That's not my question. My question is that let's say evil Christian nationalists get in, they outlaw sex work. They outlaw OF. No more 18-year-olds can stick jars up their butt on OF anymore. That's illegal now, okay? Gay marriage, right? They can have civil unions, but they can't enter into actual marriages. And let's just say, that they wanted to reinforce from the top down the idealism of a man and a woman in a marriage, that this is good because it leads to increased birth rates, things like this. And it captured the idealism of people. Let's just say hypothetically, it captured their ideals. It made them feel like they were now part of something again, and they were moving towards those ideals. And part of that was patriotism and the idea of the republic and the idea of democracy and things like this. Would you compromise on those single values, those social values in order to achieve
Andrew or Kurt?
As a legislator, it would depend on the strength of the block I'm going against.
The strength is high.
I would compromise to save as many lives as I possibly could.
Yeah. So, okay. The strength of your block is also strong. Would you just, but you knew if you could assure yourself that the republic would continue, right? You couldn't be assured the other way. Would you compromise on that?
Again, if it's a choice between some sort of war or revolution and any sort of compromise, in my experience in history, the compromise is always the better choice. The wars, the revolutions are always
that's what Christian nationalism is advocating for. It's advocating for massive social change using the political arm by removing many of these things and recapturing the identity of Americana under Christian ethics. That's the entire idea for it. The idea is not to abolish the Republic, it's to save it.
No, that's not what Stephen Wolfe and the Calvinist Westminster Christian Nationalists are talking
hang on. Stephen Wolfe does actually talk a lot about wanting to save the Republic. Now he uses
Stephen Wolfe wants a Christian prince. He wants the reinstituted monarchy
because he doesn't think the Republic can be saved. But here's what he says specifically. He's talking about ethno-nationalism. He's talking about something different.
He wants made legal again.
I'm talking about cultural nationalism. I'm talking about an idea of shared culture, shared values, shared idealism. The idea that you can propagate that from the top down based on.
What happened? Oh, but I was about to disagree with him too, dude, because I said he was trying to say that we were a civil nation or whatever it was, but I was trying to say that we were cultural. He's trying to say that the only way we could be cultural is if we have to have God involved in all that, and I'm like, no, dude, like we could just have the American culture or like all our separate cultures, but yeah, we're still Americans. We don't have to have Jesus Christ and all that to form some type of culture. Yeah, I guess it crashed. Yeah, let me check on it. But these guys are losing their minds over here. Mr. L. Oh, they're mean to him. His chat's not very nice. Like ours is pretty low key. Like the heck, yeah. Like I guess everybody's saying what's up. I hope they don't bring their attitudes over here. Like it was really low key over here. We're just as stumped as you guys are. We can flip over. I was playing chess before. If you guys want to do that. Oh dang, they're really done.
We have got to the point where literally any.
Oh, I guess we got to go to chess if you guys want to stay here. But interesting. Oh, I'm right here. Oh, that's funny. I guess. I mean, yeah, that's another thing that I do over here. I'm sorry. I'm not. They crashed on Andrews. So don't yell at me. But I've been playing a lot of chess, and I'm getting pretty good. So I think maybe that's what I'm gonna do. If I'm still trying to just get to 400 elo. So if anybody likes to play chess, I'm listening to Reason. I'm gonna be playing chess. Send me a challenge, and we'll play. That'll be cool. That'll be the first time I've done that as well. And if you're like really good, well, I'll never ask for mercy, but you know what I mean. Like, let's get at it, anyways. Let's get busy. Oh, I get to have my join now. Oh shit. The Rook. Pawn 1 to 14. Oh, do not look. Yeah, I was running for my life last game, but don't judge me on that. And since you guys are here, you can tell me what to do if I take too long. I don't care about cheating, then they won't know. And there's no money on the line or anything. It's all about the elo. Sorry, I gotta pack the J. This is my dog Irie. Whenever I'm on a winning streak, she likes to come in and mess it up. Not tonight. All right. Let's get her done. And if anybody knows the name of the opening that I used, tell me too, because I haven't looked it up yet. But I saw it in a YouTube video from one of this. Like I think he's a grandmaster. He's pretty freaking good. and he has like a wicked accent. But he showed me this. It said like the one opening you need to be good like 2,000 and up, and I was like, dude, I'm 300. Don't let her familiar. I know, right? She's always in my business though. She's always in my business. But I love her. All right, let's get it. And then oh, what am I doing? See, I didn't expect him to play all this crazy stuff. Hey. What's it doing with his diets? Yeah, what the heck? What makes his chest so interesting? Um, the way it's kind of hard to explain. The way that I liked it is because I used to do jujitsu, and jujitsu is like physical chess. So like I don't know if you've ever done jujitsu, but it's like you have like a set of attacks and all that, like what you know you could do, and then you don't even know what your opponent could do unless you rolled with him before, and then so then it's just a chess match. It's like already knowing openings and then counters and all that. So then that's why I find it addicting. And right now I just don't have a gym to go to, but yeah, it's kind of like that. It's like rolling, but like mental rolling without the physicality of it all, and dying of breath and all that. But yeah, it's pretty awesome, and it's just like like setting up a plan, like a trap or something. Like when you set up a trap for their queen and like you get her, like look at this right here. Just got the queen. That's addictive right there. Like now you're up, and now he's starting to freak out. He's like moving things, and he's like, "Oh my goodness, what the heck?" He said, "Yeah, stuff like that." Now he's coming for my shit, and I'm like, You neglected your woman, not me. That's my lady. That's my queen. She's taken care of." But see, every single time I get in a position like this, I start talking too much and I ruin it. So don't let me get too cocky. See, yeah, he's coming at me like guns are blazing. Guns are blazing. Guns are blazing. Guns are blazing. Blow up the spot. Oh, I think they call it. My friend Dorian would. He would have yelled out, smother me." But I don't think I could do it now that he moved the rook. The rook. Oh, dude, did somebody just yell out the rook? Is that that stings. That stings. I talk way too much. First game doesn't count. Trash, Dalvin. Trash. I know. Well, hopefully he doesn't checkmate me. That's less embarrassing. Trash. Rub it in on him. And one thing about my game, if you're like a higher player than me or like a higher rank, I never resign. Like I don't care if people find it rude, because there's like they can make a blunder or something, and then all of a sudden you win. You know, I believe in Hail Marys and like miracles and stuff. I mean, I don't believe in God. You know what I mean? Okay, yeah, that was awful. Yeah, so I'm someone who knew you would like. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, boxing is the same thing. Yeah, technique. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Be like, yeah. Yeah, right now my jujitsu is not strong. Okay, right now. I'm focused though. I was talking way too much. See, like this is my favorite opening right now. 'Cause sometimes um, I get no, I messed up. Nah, whatever. I messed up. There was a way where I could get the queen sometimes, but whatever. Still up though. I could just trade for that one. Mm. Uh, oh, okay. I thought I messed up again. No, okay. But I take a knight or a bishop. Either one. Either one. I actually hate knights. Oh, I almost messed up again. I hate knights more than bishops. There we go. There we go. That's eating. That's eating. That's eating. I know he's gonna move his queen now, because he's mad. Or not. Oh, the lowest. Come on. Opening up this bishop. What you're gonna do? Take that other rook. Try to unsuccessful. Watch this trap. Come on, fall for it. Fall for it. Fall for it. I thought too long. I should have just done it. Bang, bang. I thought too long. And he's like, what was this motherfucker thinking about? Ooh. Ooh, watch this fork. Oh no. I'm lagging a bit. No, not now, please. Not in front of my friends. We'll take them. We'll take them. No way I'm about to time out. I swear to God, I'm gonna be so mad. I suck at end games too, though. I'm bullshit if I time out. I swear. Oh, he's stuck in there. Damn, I'm gonna be mad if I time out. Oh no, golly, golly. Oh, got your queen too, though. It ain't over. It ain't over. It ain't over. Ouch! Scheiße. Oh. Eh. Eh. Ah! Wow. Oh, is he? Oh, okay. Thank you for that. Oh, he's right there. It was right there. What is this horror you are talking about? I edit together later. Jamie would have never left this. Jamie, that's funny. Oh, yeah. All right, so I think they said that. I wonder if Kurt got mad. Kurt seems like a pretty level-headed guy, though. I don't know if he got pissed off. I guess that's a well-needed break from my fucking blunders over there. Gosh, I was. Whatever. You saw me earlier. Well, you can't win them all. My BJJ is not non-existent, bro. Fear of grapplers. Well, I mean, boxers are pretty wild too, though. Like, they'll knock you out, but if you don't knock us out, yeah, then we'll start snapping shit. answer. They were waiting on. I don't know what that was. Dude, like, is Andrew? You think he'd have like the best? Like, I mean, how many people did he have in here? He had like 8,000 people or something. I think it might have been something crazy, like 8,000. Or is that? I'm not like a technology geek or anything. Well, not a geek, but I'm not a technology whiz. But like, you think that he would have something that would be able to handle all that? I'm not even sure. Like, you have to have a supercomputer or something. In everybody's opinion, or whoever was keeping up with it, who do you think was winning? Or like, I mean, the way that Andrew debates, everybody would always think that he's winning no matter what. But I don't know. Like, who do you think was being more persuasive? This silence makes the voices in my head sound real loud. So an hour. Well, they said an hour? Oh, I can't wait another hour. I mean, I guess I'll play a little bit of chess, but a little bit, not an hour. I don't know. I've been on here for almost 3. Sheesh, yeah, I gotta go soon. Yeah, I might play one more game. I might just play chess, and yeah, and if I win, then I'll see. I'll play until I lose. And if I lose, I might just peace. I apologize, friends. Unless there's an update that I'm unaware of. Yeah, I might just have to. We'll give it whatever. Guess another few seconds. I got to do it. Waiting for the Crucible February. Oh, damn. I blame my dog. I forgot about that. I blame my dog for everything. All right, I think I'm just gonna. I blame myself. Yeah, I guess so. That's that. Yes, ma'am. Jen, ma'am. If you get any more updates, can you please let me know? I'll hop back over if it's not too long. If I go on a win streak, yeah, I might just be cooking. But I'll check for after every game, after every win. Aggressive. Very off-putting. I think that might have thrown him off a bit. Oh, he is back. Oh, you jerk. I just started.
Yeah, it ain't great on my end, but whatever. We'll do the best we can do with what we got.
Oh, wait.
All right, Kurt, you want to get
you
back
guys
into
weren't
this?
even watching me play chess.
Absolutely.
All right. So the question that I was asking is whether or not you would be willing to support, if you were able to keep these kind of republic values going, if you'd be willing to make compromises on things like abortion, on things like gay marriage, on things like this. That was what my question was.
Yeah. So as a legislator, if it was going to be something that went against my understanding of what was best for my constituents, I wouldn't compromise on it. It just depends on the exact compromise that would be being made. And that's the kind of thing that just happens all the time.
Which is fair. That's fair to me too. So if we're looking at it from a matter of beliefs, if it's a matter of belief of what represents the Christian viewpoint the best, and the collective of people who are in it who agree with you as part of that power block,
why did I do that?
then don't you think that those people are going to do what's in their best interest? And what's in their best interest is going to be to limit gay marriage. It's going to be to outlaw abortion.
There's a lot going on right now. My AirPod just died. I'm playing chess. You guys are watching. Hey, Andrew. This is funny. That's funny. I'm trying not to. Oh my gosh, I'm not trying to. Time out, dude. This is crazy if I win. Shit. Fuck. Shit. Fuck. Son of a gun. Whatever. I'm going to debate anyways. Damn. There's a boss
for Christians to push towards Christian nationalism in these issues.
Because Christian nationalist governments, when the Christianity is fused with the government, what you get is state control of the religion. And when the state controls the religion, it doesn't just like make people have better family lives. What it does is it uses
alive
to totalizing control over the church to institute changes to doctrine, right?
I'm not sure what's going
Roger
on.
Williams brings this up all the time, that what Christian nationalism does is fill the pews.
Hang on. He's back. Sorry about that.
I only lost a second.
Did you hear
Go
me?
ahead. Yeah, this sucks so bad, but go ahead.
So what Roger Williams was talking about was that the church, when it takes control, when it gets taken control of by the state, it fills the pews with hypocrites who are just trying to curry favor with the state, and they use the church to do it.
Yeah, but again, that's not anything which has been advocated here. And so the thing is like you can utilize a synergistic relationship. And here's the thing. If it is the case that there's a synergistic relationship between the constituency of politicians who are Christians and they're trying to enforce their will, they want their will enforced. They want their worldview enforced. They want their worldview legislated. You don't actually have a problem with that, right?
It depends on how they do it, right? If they do it using death squads like the South African Christian
one's
nationalists
advocating
did,
here to
then I don't.
No one here is advocating utilizing death squads. But as long as Christians introduce whatever their value structure is through power of law, even if they change those laws to create a new structure for law, you actually don't have any problem there, right?
But I don't see that as Christian nationalism. I guess that's the disconnect, right? If it's politics by normal means of Christians arguing for positions that they hold as Christians using reason and argument and political power without this being divinely mandated, then I just see that as normal politics.
So if it's the case that Christians utilize the voting bloc of Christianity, they get rid of the 19th Amendment, right? They get rid of Roe v. Wade. They reinforce the Second Amendment. And they bring back things like the Pledge of Allegiance in school. They bring back the 10 Commandments. They want an oath sworn on the Bible specifically, right? They do all these things, but they have the power of law to do those things because they're in a legislative authority to do those things. You don't actually have an issue, right?
Well, if what you're saying is using legal means, they get all those amendments overturned by 3/4 of the states and 2/3.
That's not the only way to get an
of
amendment.
Congress.
That's not the only way to get an amendment.
Yeah, you can. What?
Yeah, Congress is not the
You
only
agree
way.
that's the only way to get an amendment, right?
From
If that's the way they do it, then that is how the system is.
well,
set
you
up
have to utilize
be done,
the
and that's the
you have
way
to
it would be
utilize
done.
the states, or you can utilize Congress.
You can no, you have to do both.
Wait, I'm sorry. What? I'm
You
sorry,
have to
man. You're
get
breaking up really
both
bad.
Congress and the state.
I'm sorry, for a constitutional
For an
amendment.
amendment, you have to do
Okay.
both.
So help me out here, right? If it's the case that we get that a constitutional amendment is amended, right, or in some way retracted, and it's done via the power of a voting bloc constituency who gets their government in power, you don't have an issue with that, right?
If there's a Christian revival, that could happen. But right now, the largest religious group in the country is nuns, like people with no religious affiliation. The second largest religious group as a single group is the Catholic.
But as long as Christians can convince them to go along with their legislative, with what their legislative authority is, you don't have any problem with that.
Well, I just don't see that as Christian nationalism. So I guess that's the disconnect.
If Christians go in and they use the power and authority of law to then change laws to put up a Christian monarch, you don't actually have an issue with that, right?
I just think that.
Can you answer my question? You don't actually have an issue with that, right?
If it is legally done, I don't think it could be legally done.
It could be legally done. If Christians could establish
an amendment,
if Christians could establish a legislative authority and put in, let's just say that they got rid of, I don't know, one branch of the government. They amended the Constitution and now you only had two. Or let's just say they eliminated two and now you only have one. Can you tell me what your actual issue would be with that?
my issue would be that I would have left the country probably long before they got to that
yeah,
point.
but there's nothing actually wrong with them doing that, right?
It seems like what you're saying is as long as they followed all the legal structures and did everything legally
to change all of the
kill
legal,
anybody
yeah.
and didn't
They
use
followed
violence,
the legal structures to change
and didn't
the legal
intimidate
structures.
people, but just used persuasion. Would I be okay with that? Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I would.
So as long as Christians utilize the legal structures to change the legal structures, you don't actually have any issues with that, right?
I think it's highly unlikely to ever take place.
We're not talking about what is likely, right?
Yeah.
We're talking
You're just
about
talking a logical possibility of a potential future where people simply use persuasion and argument to change enough minds to get a voting bloc large enough to do a thing that would completely change the way the United States is run. That has been done and could be done again, right?
Yeah. So if they change the laws to get rid of all of these things that you really like, including democracy itself, you don't actually have any problem there because procedurally they're fine. So it doesn't even sound like you have an issue with Christian nationalism. It just sounds like you have an issue.
Oh, no, I have a huge issue with Christian nationalism.
Well, I don't understand because as long as I procedurally follow whatever.
Christian nationalism has never come to power using that strategy.
Oh, wait a second. Who cares how they come to power with which strategy? I'm talking specifically if they use the strategy of simply overturning law via utilizing and subverting democracy to overturn law. You have no problems with that, right?
Well, give me an example of a country that's done that.
What?
Is there a country that has done the thing you're describing?
Oh yeah, it's happened in the United States many times. We've added amendments and taken them away.
The United States has gotten rid of democracy?
And that's not what I said, but utilizing the power to subvert democracy.
No, I'm asking, is there a country that's had a constitution that amended it such to the point that the Constitution no longer functioned?
Yes.
And this is a good back and
yes,
forth.
but
That's
also let me point
22 minutes. Agreed.
Can I point this out though? In Germany,
Sure.
wasn't Hitler democratically elected?
No, he wasn't democratically elected. He was appointed by the president after a contested election.
Wait a second. So he wasn't democratically elected?
So you understand how parliamentary coalitions can sometimes have a president who selects a party to form a government, even though
which is part of the procedural. That's part of the procedural
rule,
right?
That's what happened.
So it was legitimate, right?
But he wasn't elected by a majority.
But that's well, it doesn't matter. He followed.
But then he illegally
hang on.
seized power.
The procedures were
using the
the procedures were followed, right?
No, not at all.
No, for him to get into power.
For him to assume office, yes, but not for him to get into power.
Yeah, you see what I mean? So the thing is like, as long as though that Hitler procedurally followed the stupid ass system that you want.
Did not.
He did. You just said he got in. Originally, who was
no. There's a difference between attaining an office and seizing power.
Yes, but he would never have gotten to that office, right? Except that he used the procedural rules in order to get there, right?
The president called his party to form the government. That was a terrible mistake on the part of the president.
But it was well within his authority, right?
It was within his authority, but then what Hitler did to seize power was not legal.
I get it. I understand. Yeah, I understand. But if you think that you can't use procedures in order to get into authority to begin to unwind things you don't like, right? You definitely can. And throughout this country's history, you've also been able to do this as well.
Well, there's always been a mechanism for amending the Constitution. That's correct.
And so the thing is like, from your perspective, all I have to do is follow procedures and you don't even care.
Okay, but can I get my 20 minutes now? Because I think
you're at 20 minutes right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so your idea of Christianity is
not Christianity.
It is,
not Christianity, Christian nationalism, right?
Right, but I just want to understand that your idea of Christianity is that it is the thing that should be fused with the power of the state because it is divinely inspired.
It's already infused with the power of the state.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Yeah, so people